Hello and welcome into my latest live video. It's the Carey and Mitch show starring Carey and Mitch. Welcome in, everybody. And it almost caught me off guard. I was
What date is it?
the 29th of October, 2021. Yeah, that's what I was trying to confirm before. And that intro ended a little earlier than I expected. However,
Some shout outs.
absolutely. Peter Laycock had already contributed 50 pounds. Peter says, good evening, Carey and Mitch, and everyone in the chat. From Bonnie, Scotland, where the temperature in Edinburgh, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Is 48 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's a bit brisk, yeah.
All I got to say to that is,
Yeah. Bring it on. Thank you, Peter.
As always, Peter, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, your support. Appreciate you very much. Roger Mack with $4.99 says, contribution to the refreshments you need during your show. Right on. Bring out the fireball.
Too early.
Is it Ada Rivera or Alda? Is that an I or an L?
Aye.
Ada Rivera contributes $5. Thank you, Ada. Ida? Alda?
Wearing your short eyeballs. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Let me get up there and get a closer look at that.
It's in Braille. Figure it out. All right, there you go.
No, getting nothing. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, Michael Dane contributes $5.
The man.
He says, knock, knock, trick or treat. Oh, we got a trick or treater, Mitch.
Okay.
You want to hand these out today?
Ah. Are we giving? We're now giving a free plug. All right.
Yeah. Now there's a left Twix and a right Twix. You got to make sure you balance those out.
Oh, yeah.
I was about ready to return this bag because it was off balance.
Ah.
This is a right one.
Well, and you're right-handed and I'm left-handed, so.
It's another right one. It's another right one.
Would you eat all my lefts?
There's a left.
Oh.
One left. All right. So thank you, Michael. Appreciate your contribution. And Rick Hubbard with a $5 contribution. Rick's watching us from London. There's LRCX. That's Larry. Hey, Larry. Larry really wants that broken case. He wants to fix it and keep it. I'm like, shipping this to you is going to cost as much as a brand new case.
Right.
He's like, yeah, but I want to show you I can do it. I'm like, I have no doubt you can do it. It just doesn't make any sense. Well, I still want it. I said, okay.
Okay.
So I add that to my to-do list. There's more stuff.
Yeah.
Once I get the customer's build from yesterday put into a new case, then I got to find some time to get the other case shipped out. Larry also, he does fabrication work, and he offered to put wheels on the bottom of the Big Beast build. Once we're done with it, I believe that just the bottom piece can be removed, and I can send that to him. And he's only in California, so we'll definitely take him up on it.
Yeah, and that's going to need it when that gets fully kitted out. So.
Oh, yes. There's Bill Leatherland also joining us from England. He says, just a quick watch. Have a great show. Oh, and play nicely in chat. Hey, Bill, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. Bob Connors with a $50 contribution. He says, hello, Carey and Mitch from overcast and chilly Alpena, Michigan, 54 degrees Fahrenheit.
And Carey told me if this is the mitten, you're way up here in the index finger. That's pretty high up with the UP up here.
Well, the further north you go, the colder it
Chilly.
gets. Yeah, so he knew what he was getting into when he moved there. But we're gonna do a build for Bob here coming up soon. Yeah, not today, but he is on the to-do list.
Okay.
And let's see, who else do we have in here? Welcome in Matt Power, Jeff Ryman. There's Rick Lates. Rick contributes $20 and says hello. Right on, Rick. Thank you as always. There's Photo Ray joining us. And I need to get Photo Ray over here very soon. Maybe we'll start getting you over here next week because I will have some cable management jobs.
To do your magic.
And I may have Photo Ray, while he's here and under my supervision, help me get caught up with some of the technical work. I know people, generally speaking, want me to do the work, but I'm starting to feel overwhelmed again. And
deep cleansing breath.
And all the work Photo Ray's been doing has been dead on, and I supervise him, and if he has any questions or anything, or if I see something that needs corrected, he just gets better and better, right? So when you're ready, Photo Ray, I mean, I hope you'll be ready, because I think next week I'm going to have you back here.
Do your magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say it much crueler than that.
Okay.
But, run the axe against the grindstone, but no, he's a good worker. And let's see. Oh, a lot of people talking about the 12th generation Intel chips.
Okay.
These are coming out November the 4th. They will require, well, some of them may require DDR5.
Ooh.
DDR5 looks the same as DDR4. It's about nearly twice the money.
Ooh.
And is it going to be worth it? I don't know. All the motherboards that are already announced for the new 12th generation chip are very expensive, in my opinion. So like anything brand new, I don't recommend you jump right into it. There's going to be limited quantities available, and they're going to demand probably the highest price for the motherboard, the RAM, and the CPU during its first 6 months. Once you wait out that first 6 months, there should be a lot more motherboards. That's going to create competition, lower the prices. Same with the RAM. There'll be more RAM released. That lowers the prices due to competition. And the chip prices themselves, once again, should come down. If you look at, well, the chips we've got in front of us today, these are 9900Ks. These are 9th generation chips. And when these first came out, I think they were $650. Nowadays, they're $450. You might even be able to get one cheaper than that. But of course, that's going on years after it came out. This is sort of the last hurrah, I think, for the 9th generation. I think you've got a good year. Well, I say you've got until this summer. If you're going to build a new computer and you want to use a 9th generation chip, you can save a lot of money. And the difference between a 9th gen, a 10th gen, and an 11th gen in performance is negligible for most people.
A smidge.
Yeah,
Just a
it
smidge.
is. But now 12th generation, Intel CEO has been making some big promises that they're going to wipe the floor with AMD.
Oh.
And that AMD is going to fall way behind the minute they release this Alder Lake 12th generation chip. Now, we don't know how much of this is marketing BS, if it's specific benchmarks, or if it's just that much better, which is what he's alluding to in every single way. It's superior. And it's coming in under the price of the AMD 5950, which is their flagship, right? That's a $750 chip.
Oh.
Intel's chip's going to be $600. I think it's 600. And I've seen it at 650 already. So, but I think it's supposed to be 589 if I'm not mistaken. So no real big difference if you're debating about which. I want to build a system. I don't know if I go Intel, should I go 9th gen, 10th gen, or 11th gen? I'm telling you right now, not a real big difference as far as the i7 and i9s. Maybe on the i5 is a bit of a difference when they started enabling multiple threads on the i5s. I'm not sure when they started that. However, it's not obsolete. And if you build with a 9th gen, from whenever day you build it, I predict it should be good for 8 years. No differently than a 10th gen or 11th gen. The 12th gen, we just have to wait until, well, first we wait for the reviews to come out. And I think Intel is forcing all the reviewers who agree to a non-disclosure arrangement agreement, that if you want the product early for testing, we'll do it under one condition, and that is you don't release your video until the release date. And what this does is it forces the consumer to decide if they want to buy it long before they know the results of the reviews, right?
Okay.
So if you're going to buy it and you want to be one of the first, you're going to find out the same day everybody else does, if it's worth it or not. And you're going to pay top dollar for it, and it's probably already sold out right now anyway. Like Newegg already announced it. It's already sold out. So with the distribution problems, I don't know how long that's going to last. However, I'll let other people be first. All right. I'll let you guys do that. And then maybe in later November or December, if I can get a reasonably priced motherboard and reasonably priced DDR5, I'll get that 12th gen chip, and we'll do a build just to see ourselves.
Okay.
But by then, it will already have been, look, it's going to be very thoroughly reviewed on the 4th of November. Right. That, that's already, that ship will have sailed. And I don't need to add into that, right? I'm sure whatever they're going to review, whatever conclusions they come to from the review will probably be what we're going to see anyway. So yeah, just too early to have any information yet. Mike Yazzie with a $20 contribution says, hello, Carey and Mitch. I'm watching from Banner University Hospital. Just received a kidney transplant on Wednesday, just the other day, 2 days ago. Going home today. Wow. Well, good for you on getting a kidney transplant. I wonder how long he was on that waiting list, huh? And I can't believe you can get a kidney transplant on Wednesday and go home on Friday. Or no, he said tomorrow. No, he said today. He's going home today. That's amazing. So it sounds like everything went well, if that's the case.
I really used my kidneys last night, but that's another story. All right.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. I think he's using them right now.
Oh, okay.
Let's take a look.
Well, I was watching my Packers, so
they
win. So
yeah. You say that.
Yeah.
Your home team was undefeated until yesterday.
Oh.
Because of the Packers. Richard Percival with a 5-pound contribution says, hey, Carey, it's been a while since I last checked in. It's been a crazy couple of years. Hope you and Mitch are good. Hey, thank you, Richard. Yeah, we're keeping busy, staying out of trouble, and we'll make sure you are blue in there. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, yesterday. I went for a motorcycle ride out to Bartlett Lake on my 2 new motorcycle tires. Smooth, very smooth. It was nice. Ride them. Oh, you get over there? Okay.
I went to the other camera just to close up.
Oh.
Mitch looks so skinny, so they're trying to say I look fat. Is that what they're saying? Let's see how this works. Shorter and fatter hosts.
I'm on an all beer diet. Okay, or all Blue Moon. Yeah.
All right. So, well, they're surfing the net computer repair. I want to make him blue as well. Now, today, what are we doing?
Something very unique that we haven't done before. So, I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, cut to the chase. I got to build 3 identical systems.
Okay.
And I thought, do I have any parts here in bulk that I can do 3 exactly the same?
Okay.
And I kind of did and kind of didn't. So I had to order some more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
However, I thought, since I got to build 3 of them and they're all identical, why make 3 identical build videos? Seems kind of boring.
Okay.
So I thought, what if you and I build together? Let at least get 2 of them out of the way, and the 3rd one I can do off cameras.
Okay.
So you and I are going to start with all the same
parts,
ingredients.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have these Core i9 9900Ks. I just had 3 of these left. They've never been opened, and I really wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them. I picked them up at a great price back then. Usually for me, a great price means $500 or less on a high-end Intel chip. So I'm sure this was probably $500. Might have been $525. Now, of course, if I would have waited, I could pick them up cheaper. But I didn't know.
And if you want to see something really funny, just wait till Carey and I try to open these cubes. You're really going to see something funny. Get out the hammer. Hammer time. All right.
Now, we're going to pair that with 32 gigs of RAM in each one. So we're using the Team Elite. This is one of the things I had to buy.
Okay.
Because I wanted 3 matching sets. I want all 3 systems. Since they're all going to the same place, I want support to be easier.
Okay.
And
32 gig DDR4.
Yeah, all these parts,
3200. Yeah.
All these parts are in the video notes below the video. All right, so that's your RAM, that's my RAM. Solid state storage. We're using, of course, the Intel 660p, 1 terabyte. I had one from a previous build that I'm going to steal from the previous build. And then there's one new in a box that I had taken out for a build, ended up not using it, put it back in the box. So that box has been opened, but these are all
new.
Everything's new, but the motherboards, the boards, I believe, were return product that we tested.
Okay.
Then we're going to use the Noctua NHU12S. And the reason for that is on previous builds for this client, I had just used the stock fan. And when I was last at their office, their fans are really loud. I mean, I can't believe how loud they are. And I'm like, geez, I sold this to you with a stock fan. So that cooler below was a returned item on Amazon, and it looks perfect. So with the customer's permission, we're going to use some return parts with the same warranty. I honor the same warranty that I always do. And if something should happen with any of these systems, there is an extra one in the bunch, so they can send it back. Of course, I'll cover it under warranty for free. It's just a hassle of getting it back and forth. But they're going to be thoroughly tested before they go out the door, right? And if anything is not 100%, and I can't get another one of these boards, I'll upgrade them to something else. Okay. So
What's the password?
as far as the case, I still have some 200Rs. The problem is those 200Rs were reserved for this, and then one is reserved, I believe, for Bob Connors. So that's why the whole issue yesterday was I don't have any more. That's the end of them. And we're going to work on that. We'll follow up on yesterday's video when I have more information. But, you know, it occurred to me that if I have to send anything back to a manufacturer for warranty, there are very strict rules regarding how it has to be shipped, or they will not accept your RMA and they will void your warranty. Like if this cover isn't put back on the motherboard, or if you've ever returned a hard drive, it has to be very specifically packed. And if you don't do it that way, no warranty. And yesterday's video is now a lesson for all of us on why these manufacturers have these rules. And they say, you have to return it under, they don't give you the option like I did. I said, here's what I recommend. What you do is what you do. These manufacturers, when it comes to warranty, and this is exactly why, what we saw yesterday, if the product arrives in a damaged condition from the shipping, it limits what they can do to repair or refurbish that or get it working, or even its resale value to a refurbisher. And it adds more labor, as we noticed on yesterday's video. And I started thinking about that, and I went, well, I now know firsthand when a manufacturer tells you to RMA something and you don't follow their shipping instructions, it's going to be returned right back to you. So anyway, yeah, so I thought you and I would build side by side. I don't know, we could do it together or we could take turns. What do you think? You want to get started?
Okay. Yeah, these have never been.
Yeah, oh no, they're brand new.
Still hermetically sealed.
That's right.
And so.
Hey, Armando Garcia says, hello, Uncle Carey, Mitch, and chat. Hope everyone is doing great and having an awesome day. Welcome in. There's Blackwatch joining us. Mortmont's joining us. Mortmont said that's a nice build list, Carey. I'm glad you like it. That i9 packaging is almost goading people to kick that package around like a soccer ball. Yeah, you probably break a toe.
Yeah.
All right, shall we go to the wireless camera? I hope my video quality looks better. I made some settings changes. I hope it's noticeable.
So it's time to fire up the drone.
Here we go. Okay. There it is. All right, well, so we're live on the wireless camera.
Well, we need to break the seal. Blade.
All right, here he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you might have to see a doctor.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to move these heat sinks out of the way for right now.
Can I open yours? Huh? Can I?
Go ahead. Okay. I think I want to say no to a guy with a knife.
Okay.
Wasn't born yesterday.
Your cube, sire. All right.
Oh, he's giving it to me.
Your orb. Okay.
Right.
Now let's see. This has a cardboard doodad, right? Yep. That's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you want, you can just set it right over there.
Yeah. Okay. Little 3D. All right.
Oh, guess what? You're gonna need that knife back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
you're going to have a piece of tape here and the opposite side here. And you'll have to kind of find the little groove where the plastic meets. Because if you don't, then the tape's still going to stick. You know. Remember, there's 2 on each one.
Two on each one.
Yeah, in other words, exact opposite side of this cube is another piece of tape.
I don't believe. Oh, yes, there is. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was going to offer a college course on how to open electronics packaging.
Okay. I'm waiting for the punchline. Yeah,
That's the whole joke.
That's. Oh, that now I got that one, but this one didn't do that. Should it have done that? Yeah. I don't know. I'm getting very nervous.
I think you're going to carve your name into that like it's a tree. All right. Is that your final cut?
I guess.
Okay. Well, let's see who gets theirs open first. Beginner's luck.
Ooh.
Now that you've gotten all the attention,
Okay.
let me show you how it's done.
Okay. Did I not cut it? Ooh. Is it me, or was it getting it easier from the last time that I saw you open one of these?
I think you cut it better than I cut. Your cuts were more thorough. I tend to be a little more haphazard with the knife. I feel like when I open that, I'm going to catch Darth Vader putting his helmet on. Okay, here's our chips.
I know what to do with that. All right.
Wrong kind of chips.
Yeah. And at the time, these went for 500 beans.
Well, they were
biscuits.
They were
bongos,
6
bananas.
I think they were 600, but they were $5.50 for a long time.
What we have.
I mean, they could have just shipped it like this, though, Mitch. This is all we need.
Right. Very nice documentation. And as always, it's lovely to have a Go Faster sticker. In the box.
Okay, let me see. You'll see there's a little cutaway in the box right there, and that's so you can just lift the package out right through there.
Now?
Unless you know another way of installing it without removing it from the packaging.
Okay.
Just keep all the parts, all the boxes together. Okay. Installing the CPU. Let's turn your box. Yeah, let's keep them both the same. Okay.
You have our little handle here. Like Uncle Carey always says, you can do this. And a little bit of force to get that out and away. No touchy.
Why'd you stop?
Oh, I thought we were going to do it together.
Oh, okay. All right. My turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now this comes with an indentation, or no.
It's like a little cutaway corner.
A little cutaway corner there. And we're going to get to be able to use two suction cups today.
You want to use a suction cup for that?
Very, very nice. Well, maybe
We have these small suction cups.
Maybe not, like you said. I'd like to try to.
There. There you go.
So instead of, I'll still pull it out with the things here like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Here,
here,
we don't want to. We want to avoid touching the top and the bottom,
and
just
then-
for finger.
and then here's our little triangle right there. And then where on the board? It's right.
Mhm.
It's right there.
That's correct. Show it one more time.
Right there.
Yep, that's it.
So
I'm really sweating. Let me see here. Well, since we have the suction cup, I'll just set it down.
Yep.
And that's not in yet, but, oh, it is in, yeah.
That's it.
Check my work, yeah.
I can tell by looking at it. You got it.
Simple as it.
Yeah. You did it. See? And we can
First
slide
time.
that suction cup up there. Lower the lid.
And again, you want this notch, not the iPhone notch, this notch to go under the screw. And you're going to be a bit of force here, putting this down and under. And then, yeah, in the motherboard box that goes.
Yep.
And,
Now my turn.
Okay. Yeah, make it look easy.
I might have done this a little bit more than you have, so
Just a little.
I probably should put my glasses on. What we don't want to do is we don't want to put any downward force on this, right? So even though I don't have this anywhere near straight in the socket, I'm also not going to push down on it. So I'm going to just lift up again, try and put it in on an angle against the plastic frame.
Oh, and there is a notch here too. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a couple of
notches
notches. On the 10th gen, the notches are at the bottom so that you can't put a 10th gen chip into a 9th gen socket. And then I can just slide this off like that. And when we lower the mechanism down, it's going to push down on that CPU a bit. Why did that click like that? That was weird. Pop that off. Those together. I'll give you that, and I'll put the little suction cup back with the rest of the little suction cups.
Storage.
Yeah, let's do our M.2s.
Okay. This is a is it 1 terabyte? Yeah.
It's was that a 660 or a 665? 660. Good. What about this one? This is a 665, but as far as I'm concerned, they're all the same.
Okay.
There's not enough difference.
Now,
there.
are there 2 spots? Here's a spot for one, and here's here's a
So
spot.
that bottom slot runs at half speed.
Don't like it. Yeah. All right, so we're going to use the one closest to the what do you call that? Yeah,
The CPU.
yeah, CPU. I was just seeing if you were paying attention. This one. Okay. Does this have a no go faster sticker? And is this sealed?
No, it's
Oh.
2 pieces. There is a cutaway in it. There you go.
Okay. Now,
I would suggest you set that down.
because I have to take that screw out
Correct.
with our Mismo or Nismo or Gizmo screwdriver.
That's a JIS, Japanese Industrial Standard, Phillips style screwdriver made by a company called Hosan, Hasan.
Magnetic.
They have some really nice tools coming out of Japan, I gotta say. You should look up, you want a good set of pliers? They're called Vam pliers. And they're
good.
really good pliers.
Notch. Too much caffeine. All right, let's see. Steady. Diving board. Right back in. I'm getting faster. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then don't
Just 1,200 more like that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be caught up with you. Don't over tighten, but just you want it snug.
Mhm.
Snug.
Perfect.
Boom. Boom.
My turn?
Next. Was yours 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes?
No, they're both 1 terabyte.
1 terabyte.
Yeah, 1 terabyte. 1 terabyte.
Okay.
This is just a 665. That's a 660. Like I said, it's a slight difference in how many write cycles they have. There's really not much in performance variation there, or price for that matter. They might have been $10 apart. depending on if you catch them on sale, they could even be the same price. So that's our CPU and our storage. Maybe this would be a good time to put the back plate on for the heatsink.
Okay.
Set the RAM over here. Tell you what, you take the new one, give me the one that was opened, just in case anything's wonky. I'll know.
Technical terms, wonky.
Yeah. Hanky, wonky, wonky. These coolers run about $80 a piece, and they're well worth it if you want something that's going to have no problem cooling the chip, as well as running very, very quietly. Super easy to install this. Even a Mitch can do it.
Okay. Box of parts. Our fan.
Let's see how Mitch gets this up. That gets it done. Okay, fair. It's fair. Now what are you going to do?
I think it opens like this. Ah,
You are correct.
maybe this side doesn't.
It might be all you need.
Jump out. Oh, no. Ooh,
He's thinking now. I
using,
can smell the burning.
using that old brain power.
He's got it, ladies and gentlemen. He figured it out. I'm telling you, that's harder than installing the CPU, or installing the cooler, is getting it out of the box. So you've already done the difficult part.
No pre-applied.
No, not on the Noctua coolers.
Okay.
Typically, you'll find that on stock coolers that come included with CPUs, or
very
a lot of all-in-one liquid
Okay.
coolers.
So now the back plate, nothing more in here.
No, that's all going to be in the first box.
So then we have our parts. Yeah. No knifey? No.
No, you won't need that.
The back plate's in here, though.
Yeah, but there shouldn't be tape closed.
Oh, okay.
Where's the writing at? Where's the writing? On the side of the box. You have to open the side.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
Does that side open or no?
No.
Okay. Well, one side, it's got to be the other side. Yeah, that side there's got to open. There you go. He's got it.
Opens.
If it was me, I would have put the writing on that side, but you know,
Says something. Now, I get confused. Are the parentheses Intel and the other ones are AMD?
well, it depends on the
Intel?
heatsink manufacturer. But before you take anything out, everything here is for Intel.
Okay.
This is all Intel. So when we lift this out, you see what's under that?
This is what we need.
Well, that and all this goes together.
Okay.
That's all Intel. Everything else, like everything under the instructions,
Is AMD.
that's all AMD.
Gotcha.
The brackets are that's AMD. That's Intel. It's as far as I know, they're the only cooler manufacturer that separates the parts out together. And you can see these little parts that we've had to put in for other coolers. This is already done for you.
And we have our two nubs and our notch.
Nubs and a notch.
Yeah, and
Okay.
very technical.
If we're going too fast, let us know. We'll slow down.
Yeah, very technical. So now, how do I get that? I'll show the back with the two nubs and a notch.
Two nubs
And a notch. Right here. And here, well, three. So it does not go like this. No. Goes like, ooh, hit my mic. Sorry about that. If you're wearing headphones, goes like this. Easy peasy. Two nubs and the notch, just like that. Okay, and then, well, actually, I've got the things here that I can hold.
That's right. Just trying to avoid contact with
Okay.
anything that's metal on this board. Try not to touch the metal.
Now,
This is okay.
now what do I do? Take these?
Well, what else is in there besides those? Take those out. And there's a baggie. And while you're doing that, I'll start on mine too.
Okay.
So mine should be Even though this was returned, it looked like nobody ever took it out of the box. It looks like brand new. Now, I'm not going to take mine out of here the way you did. That's the way I do it.
Okay.
I just leave that piece in there.
I like my parentheses. See, I'm happy. Oh, that's a nice mustache there. Oh, it just adds 10 years to me.
So I'm going to just catch up with you right now.
Okay.
There's my little box here. The rest of this aside for now. And I'll flip this and put it on this way.
You are correct, sir.
Okay, I'm caught up.
So now the brackets, let's see.
Well, remember I said pay attention to the bag.
Yeah.
What's in this bag? This is the bag that's in the cardboard that we just took out.
Okay.
Right here. This is the same bag Mitch has in his hands.
You've got,
And this is all the Intel mounting hardware in this bag.
okay. Should we open them?
Yes, let's Oh, you want me to do it? You know, this is how you lost a finger.
okay.
Okay, there's yours. I'll open mine.
So we've got spacers, right? You would consider that a spacer.
Yes, I would call that a spacer. What else you got in there?
I've got screws. I've got these things
Mm-hmm.
and these things.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. What are these things? These are, yeah, something or others. And yeah.
Well, this would be used for an Intel Socket 20 series, which are the high-end Intel chips. We won't use those today.
Okay.
So any of those little standoffs there, set those aside. That's for a different type of computer. There's two different Intel Socket installation types. And so when they put this together, when Nacho puts this together, they keep all the Intel stuff together. So you're not using every part in the box.
Okay.
So, but you're going to have left over all these 4 standoffs, right? Or, sorry, these 4 spacers. And when you set these spacers down, you'll notice they don't, sometimes, depending on the, I can't remember which coolers do this, sometimes one side won't go all the way down, or if you turn it around, sometimes the hole's a little bit smaller in diameter and it sort of locks in. These are not doing that. So these are just spacers. That's all they're doing. And over here on mine, I'll put my spacers on. Like I said, it does not appear that these have a up or down. Looks like either way, this way or this way, appear to be equally the same. But that's not true of all manufacturers' coolers, but it seems to be true here, at least of the Noctua. What is this? The NHU12S. Like I say, it's an $80 cooler, comes with 1 fan, it's black, and when we install this board into a 200R, this is a difficult area to reach into with a Mugen 5 with the giant, but with this one, it's much easier.
You don't have to use the forceps.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now what? All right.
All right. Well, now we are ready to mount the cooler on top of the CPU. And first thing we need to do is take the fan off. So you're going to take the little metal wire hanger here, pull down on it and away. And then do the same thing on the other side, down and away.
Like this? Down and away?
Well, down would mean
Oh.
that way. And then away. There you go. And then don't hold it by the fan now because you understand, you've just loosened that side. So turn it so you can get to the other side. And then do the same thing on the other side. You pull it towards you and up. Now just go ahead and grab the fan and remove it. And untangle the power cable. Okay. Now when we install this, it can install this way, or it can install this way. Do you know what the difference is? Do you know why we would pick one way over the other?
Depending on whether you're in a push
No.
here? No.
No, it's just based on how they wrote the word Noctua,
Ah.
right? It's just purely an aesthetic thing. I want the word Noctua to face the same way as the word gigabyte.
Gotcha.
I always want it to face the RAM if it's any manufacturer, even Cooler Master, whoever.
Okay.
I want that word Noctua facing that way
Gotcha.
so that everything on the system, all the words are moving in the same direction. It has no impact on how this works or how it installs or how well it cools.
Okay.
It is purely an aesthetic, and this kind of attention to detail is what separates the men from the boys here,
Okay.
right? Some people say, so what? Okay, so what? That's why I give you that information. It's important for me, it may not be important for you. You decide. But that's how I determine the direction of all coolers I put in. Even the liquid coolers, I want that logo to face the right way. Now, since we know that, we know it's got to go in this way, and we can see the screws are here. That means these brackets, remember these little parentheses? You see how they have a screw sticking up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what the heat sink is going to attach to. So that has to face upwards.
Gotcha.
And we know the screws are going to be, from our perspective, on the right and the left.
Okay.
So we can't put the brackets in this way, can we? I mean, they would fit. That would fit, but how would I secure the heat sink in this orientation?
Okay.
Right? So we know the heat sinks, we know these brackets rather have to go with the nub that's the screw here that's sticking out facing up, and they need to be symmetrical and oppose one another. So it just looks like parentheses you'd think would look. Okay, finally, we have these little thumb screws. And we're just going to lock these brackets down. You don't have to really tighten these super tight. Just make them secure. We want to make sure those brackets aren't going to loosen up on us.
Yeah, this is an easy install.
Much easier, right?
compared to your Evos and your.
So you're spending the extra money for a high quality cooler,
And
but
just-
it's a more
just faster,
yeah, it's more efficient, especially if you're building a lot of computers. You could lose a lot of time and labor cost trying to save money on a cooler. And I'm just going to go ahead and tighten these up pretty much to where they stop. And I'm not going to push it any further than that.
just until they stop. You better check my work. Wait a minute.
It looks good. I can't imagine it's really going to matter. I felt like you were a little too gentle with it.
Okay.
Yeah, these could be significantly better. They didn't stop. If I can still turn it, then you didn't bring it to a stop. Like that, you should not be able to turn it anymore. Okay, and you don't, I mean, obviously, if you really crank down on it. But,
Crack the board, yeah.
all right, now, you know what time it is? Da 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 da. Thermal compound time. Now, these boxes each have another little bag.
Do we both have to do this?
No, I'll do both if you want.
Thank.
Inside this bag, we have our Noctua case badge. It's a metal case badge.
Will that be enough for both? Or you
The
don't think so?
one tube of thermal compound will be more than enough.
for
There
both?
will still be some left over.
Okay.
I like that Noctua does that. They give you more than you need. Not all manufacturers do that.
Okay.
Some give you a little baggie you got to cut. And sometimes there's not enough in the baggie. It's messier. They don't give you anything extra.
Well-
Everything else in this bag, such as these extra fan brackets, are for putting an additional fan on. And this is supposed to make the fan run quieter, but what this does is it reduces the speed of the fan, so your cooler won't work as well under heavy loads. So I don't use these parts. And then finally, as I mentioned, this Noctua case badge, which weighs about the same as a nickel. It's heavy.
Okay.
They do a really nice job on their case badges. You hear that thunk? Okay, so we've got the thermal compound, and I'm going to put a little dab of it on mine. That'll be good enough. And over here. feel like that could use just a little bit more. And as you can see, we have plenty, well, not plenty, but we have at least one more application.
Nice.
At least one more in this. Okay, here we go. Why did I put this on my left hand?
You're right-handed. Take
Well,
live dangerously.
I'm ambidextrous.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let me get my glasses so I can see.
Yeah, so you say. Okay. Do you miss the old Scotch tape way? I
No, I
actually
like
prefer-
this better.
Yeah.
This is,
So,
I mean, I
yeah.
still have Scotch tape,
Tape.
so if I wanted to use Scotch tape, I would. I like this way better. I think it's cleaner. Sometimes the Scotch tape will fold on you while you're using it.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It gets messy. So we're just basically finger painting. You'll see I keep switching fingers. That's because I'm trying to get the excess off onto the glove. We want to make sure we have good even coverage all the way around. You can see,
Still had excess there.
yeah, a lot came off. Still feel like there's a little bit extra here. That's my last clean finger. Okay, now I'm going to turn that glove inside out. How did it get on there? Oh, that's from the finger. Still, I somehow managed to get it on my hands, but I think I did good this time.
You need a Scott towel?
What's that?
You need a towel?
No, I didn't. I don't see any on me. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know how it happens, but it didn't happen this time.
Okay.
All right, so we're not dealing with the fans just yet. We're just going to go ahead and put the heat sinks on. So to put the heat sink on, now we're going to remove this cover that's been keeping this bottom clean of any dust or oils from your fingers, and that improves the heat transfer between the thermal compound. If you do touch it, you can. It's fine. You can still put it on. However, if you want to clean it with rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip,
And you want the Noctua the same as a Gigabyte, yeah.
I want the Noctua in the same direction as where it says Gigabyte. It's going to be facing the RAM sockets, and we're going to set that right on top of the CPU.
Am I on? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not exactly, but you're close. Right there. Right there. Now we can tighten it down. Now, I recommend you use a manual screwdriver for this, but I'm going to be a little impatient today.
Okay.
And I'm just going to start one side, just get it a little started. You'll see this side starts to come up, and the further I tighten that, the higher up this gets, and then the CPU heatsink may not sit flush.
And you want it even Steven,
Even Stevens.
like Seinfeld. Yeah.
Okay.
Just go ahead and do mine.
Now this is on a very low torque setting of just 3, so I'm going to check it with a manual screwdriver. We'll do the same thing. Just get it started. This side starts to come up.
And what do these currently go for?
$80.
Okay. And just like that.
Yeah, so I'll grab my standard number 2 here, Phillips number 2. And you can see those turn just a little bit more.
About a quarter.
And they,
Yeah.
yeah, it's about a quarter of a turn. And then they lock down. You can't turn them any further than that. And that's your proper, this one hit a ways. That's proper.
Okay.
That's good thermal compound distribution. These fans, when we think about which way we're going to put these fans on, we've left the hangers. Once again, on a lot of others, you have to put these on yourself, or they have to come off, or they fall off on their own. I like how these lock in. Where these support brackets are, that's the side the air's coming out of here, right? When the fan turns, this logo doesn't turn. We want the air to blow out the back of the computer. This is the back. So we want the air to come in this way, blow out that way.
And is our CPU fan over? Yeah.
It's this differently colored fan header. It's different, and it's not always differently colored, but on Gigabyte boards it usually is. And it'll say CPU fan.
So you want the cable here because we're going to mount it like that.
Well, it's really a judgment call, right? You can certainly put it on that way and run the cable underneath. Actually, that's how it came out, right? Because
Gotcha. Yeah.
In order to have the fan cable come out this side, we'd have to move these brackets. So yes, have the cable run underneath,
Okay.
right? And then what you want to do, you have to sort of pull these little wire brackets away. And unlike the side coolers, there's no notches or anything for this fan to fit into the heatsink. You just sort of align the top, kind of eyeball it, pull back on the little hanger on both sides, and then you can let it go. And
Do my other one. I think I did that one. I don't know.
no, see the difference?
Yeah.
And then this side,
Can you do it by feel?
yeah.
See. Boom. Okay.
And you know, if it comes up, raises up a little bit,
You can adjust a little, but you want it as flush, right? As you.
yeah, I would probably take this up only because of my OCD. I would take it up just one little.
Tick more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to see the top of the fan flush or even just a little bit higher than
Gotcha.
the heatsink, because we got a lot of it's hanging off the bottom here, and that's fine. It's not going to make that big of a difference. I just want them both to be as close to the same, something a customer would never notice. It's just more of my own personal pride. This fan header is just going to plug in right here where it says CPU fan. And I don't even think we need to cable manage that. I think it's probably going to be okay just like that.
Yeah, just like.
So I'll turn this towards the camera so they can see this. Where did this come from? Oh, that's cardboard. So yeah, this is where it says CPU fan right here. And then this can only go on one direction. Like I said, we could zip tie that, but it's such a short little piece.
Yeah.
I think I'd be better off just leaving it, because if you tighten it too much, any sort of vibration or shipment could pull it right from the header.
So
So
boom,
you want it
just
to have
yeah,
some slack.
Boom, just like that. Ready for the smoke test, right?
No, we have to put some RAM in it now.
I was just testing.
All right. Well, that was a smoke test.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ah. All right.
All right. So all the extra parts,
Elite.
by the way, what did you do with your extra cooler parts?
Right.
And you'll notice, something we didn't cover. Noctua gives you this free screwdriver, which is almost guaranteed to leave a blister. It's just it's almost like an Allen wrench, but instead it's got a Phillips number 2 on it. I do not recommend you use this. Just a regular number 2 Phillips is all you need. You saw what we did here. We never use this. This is one of the cheapest. I wouldn't even call that a tool. That, as far as I'm concerned, can go into the trash can or the recycle bin. It is a worthless tool. And it's a shame because everything else from Noctua is so nice. And they just really cut a corner on that.
And of course, you're going to want to keep that thermal paste of
Yeah,
mine.
but for now, just go ahead and put everything back in the box. And then we'll set these boxes aside and we'll go through that once we're offline and sort through the mess. Okay, now we can install the RAM. Got some RAM, and you can just tear it open. Just set it right over there.
Okay.
Put this over there too.
Don't hit the drone. All right, let's see here. It's quiet, isn't it, Chad? That's a quiet drone. All right, and then you have on any corner? Yeah, pretty much. On any corner. Ooh.
Now on the sockets, you'll see there's gray ones and black ones. On these Gigabyte motherboards, we're going to use the gray ones.
And don't bend it. Don't bend it. Bend the plastic like this.
Yeah, don't bend the RAM getting it out of the package. Bend the package to get the RAM out.
The grays.
The RAM only goes in one direction.
Where's my ones that click? On this side or on this side? On this side. No?
There you go.
Yeah. Notchy. To notchy. So am I in the right? Let's see.
I would work on the one closest to the fan first.
Okay.
Yeah. And you'll want to slide that into the track very gently, and it should offer no resistance when it's in correctly. You may have to start both at the same time. If one side goes in before the other. That's it.
I don't want to, is it in? I can't see from this angle. Can you,
Looks good to me. Wait, let me get my glasses and we'll just double check your work. No, it's not. You didn't open this side, Mitch. This side has to be open too.
Two.
Yeah, and that's why you were struggling. Then that should just fit very easily with no resistance. And then we push down, left, right, you hear it lock in. I'll do mine over here, left, right, locks in, and then the other one will go into the remaining socket there to the edge.
okay.
Left, right, and I'll close the rest of these tabs. Your turn. You got it backwards. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that one perfect. So just left, right, or right, left, doesn't matter.
32 gigs.
32 gigs of RAM. Those are 16 gigs each. Now we're ready for our power on self-test. Now we see if they work. Now we're not going to power them both on at the same time for obvious reasons. And I've got your board with the RAM facing them and my board the other way so they can see both sides of the board at the same time.
You want to use this one?
Yeah, whatever power supply we got laying around. Now that's not the power supply we're going to be using in these builds. I'm going to be using the 500 watt EVGA power supplies they were $25. They're normally $40. So for $25, they were a heck of a deal. But for testing, I have this thermal take laying around here, and we'll just use this.
Is that off? Yeah.
No, it's off.
We have a 24 pin power. And that must be this one right here.
No, it's over by the RAM.
Oh. It's over there.
Maybe come at it from the other way.
What's this? Is there a notch? No notch.
Yes.
So you like to.
There's a notch. There's a clip.
So.
Look at the connector. See the clip?
Yeah.
And there's a ridge that clip's going to latch underneath that ridge.
And then just push down?
Yeah, kind of wiggle it a little bit as you forward and rock it as you push it down. There you go.
And it clicked over the ridge. Gotcha.
Hey, I was watching a thing about the movie Dune, and there were some things you didn't know about the movie Dune. And they said the band Toto, first of all, they were all studio musicians. And I think they were having some issues, and they kind of got it together for this album. And they had another offer to do Footloose, and they picked Dune.
Right.
Did you know that?
Yeah, they were scheduled to record Danger Zone. And
Wow, that would have been very different.
And they kind of had a falling out and left the producers kind of in a
Oh, see, now I didn't hear that
in
part.
a tight where they're like, we have 5 days to record this song. Who can we get? And they're like, call Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny Loggins,
Yeah.
the 80s movie man.
And he did it, and Toto even
How many
did
movies did Kenny Loggins do? He did Top Gun,
Caddyshack,
Footloose, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like
Yeah.
And by the way, the way Kenny Loggins tells it, he just kind of fell into that. It was never his.
Yeah. And the guys in Toto really told me that, that was the dumbest thing. They really should have done Danger Zone because they thought, had that been a hit, which of course it was, that would have gone on to do other things for other movies, and that's where some big
and not
money
only
is.
was the movie Dune a big stinker, that soundtrack was a big stinker too. In fact, I think you couldn't even buy it anymore if you tried.
Could be out of print.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
which reminds me, on Monday, today's Friday, on Monday, a friend of mine came from Tucson, Arizona, and we went to see Dune on the big IMAX theater here in Phoenix, and he loved it because he's a big sci-fi, read the book several times. I have never read the book, so I knew nothing about it, so I felt a little lost. But it's wonderful to look at, and the soundtrack, the sound effects, everything. So I'm glad that the director said, see it on the biggest screen you could. That was, and so yeah, it was almost like you were in it. I mean, that screen is what, 5 stories high, and I don't know how many stories wide, and great speakers and sound system in there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a nice cinematic experience. The
No,
CPU power cable has to go on this side
right
over
here,
here.
way over here.
Right? So we're just gonna put that over here, just like that. And that's all we need for power. I need a power switch.
You want the keyboard and mouse? I can get you that.
Yeah. Wouldn't mind grabbing that, and I'll go ahead and put the power switch on. That's gonna go on these top 2 pins right up here, which again is away from the camera, but it's always the same. And then I just have to hook up a front port. I need to turn this like this so I can hook up HDMI and the keyboard and mouse. And then we can fire this bad boy up and see that it runs, and then we can repeat this test again over on the other board. So I'm gonna go back over to my main camera.
Okay.
So let's see. There we go. We're good.
Okay, and I will put that in a thingamajig. Very, very technical. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Just like that.
Yep, here's our HDMI cable. And we'll give it some power here. And flip the power switch to on. We're not plugging in network. We're not plugging in printers or flash drives, anything else on a first boot. Normally, I don't even like the wires crossing over the board like this, but for this sort of demonstration, it's fine. It's not going to interfere with any fans.
Did you turn the power supply on?
I did just now. Okay. All right, so are we ready to fire this bad boy up? Let me minimize this, or not minimize it, but let me put us in a corner here. And let's turn on the HDMI input. That's going to say no signal on it. Go ahead, fire it up. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're off to a good start. Fans are spinning, lights have come on the board. And hopefully there's no operating system on these drives.
Oh, okay.
If they boot into Windows, I'm going to have to do a complete Windows reinstall. And let's make sure we've got the latest BIOS on here as well, which I think is still good. So the fact that it jumped into the BIOS is typically an indication that we don't have an operating system on the drive, which is how it should be when you're building something brand new. I'm just not sure, since these parts were opened, some of these parts, what condition they were in when I put them back. Sometimes I'm a little lazier than I should be. So we'll take a look here. Mitch and I have to go full screen on our side to see this, but it looks like BIOS version is F15E, which last I checked was the latest, but I don't know if it still is. So I'm going to just quickly do a little Google search on H370 HD3. That's the model of board, and only Gigabyte makes that specific model, so it's only going to pull up Gigabyte's website as the first link. And then under the support tab, looking under BIOS, it says the latest BIOS is F15E. And that was released back in September of 2020. So it's over a year ago since they've updated this.
Oh, okay.
Now, if we wanted to put Windows 11 on this board, we could absolutely do that. A lot of board manufacturers are releasing updated BIOSes where all they're doing is changing this one default setting from disabled to enabled.
Was it TPE or something like that?
It's PTT on an Intel board. So if we see, I'll go over here.
I was close. All right. Yeah.
And look for PTT right there.
Gotcha.
And we turn that to enabled, and that's basically the only difference.
And now
from one BIOS version to another on some boards. That's
and now
all
you can install.
Because the customers go, oh, I'm calling support because my computer's not compatible. What do I do? And there's other people on the internet, they're just crying, the sky is falling, you need a TPM module, and scalpers bought them all up, and they're pricing them 10 times more than what they cost when they were new. You don't need any of that. Most modern chips in the last 6 years already have TPM built into the chip. So all you gotta do is turn it on. It's typically in your BIOS. If it's an Intel BIOS, it's called Intel's Platform Trust Technology, or PTT. And if you are like me and you're zipping through the screens, you'll pass it. You have to really slow down and read. At some BIOSes, you may have to go into a sub menu, like it's not under here, but when you say I click that, it opens into another screen. So depending on your motherboard, it's in there somewhere if your board's within about 6 years old. Generally speaking, with very few exceptions, such as pre-builts and stuff where they may not have that option in the BIOS.
Okay.
So we'll save and exit that. And give it a second, it's going to reboot. So it saves that setting. And this is whisper quiet. You hear nothing.
Right.
You can't even tell that's on.
Yeah.
It's only going to get, well, I was going to say it's only going to get quieter, but it couldn't get any quieter than that. But once it's in the case, it's obviously much, much quieter than the stock fans. Now, we'll address some common misconceptions about putting a K CPU on a non-Z chipsetted board. Talked about this a number of times. I've got a quick tips video on it. We're going to cover it one more time. Anytime you use a K processor, it's not just the unlocked process that you're paying for. You're also paying for a faster default speed. Usually they're 10% faster. And you're also not getting a cooler. So if it came with a cooler, I wouldn't use it.
Okay.
Because these chips run hot. This is an enthusiast level chip. It's a high-end chip. And some people complain about VRMs and voltages and things, but all that means is this chip on some motherboards, like the Z boards, may run just a little teeny tiny bit faster and hotter. If the chip runs a little bit slower on this board, it'll also run cooler on this board, leaving you with far more longevity, fewer problems. And so just because you have a K processor, depending on why you're buying it, if you're buying it to overclock, obviously you would need a Z chipset to do that. But if you just want the fastest processor, right out of the box with no overclocking, because you want that reliability, you don't want to have overheating issues, this configuration here will never overheat. It's just not going to happen. So the people who criticize, those are the people who are people you don't want as customers, because they're worried about minutia. They're worried about 4 more megahertz out of gigahertz, as though that makes a real world difference. And there may be people, very few people, where that difference means something. But for most people, they're just chasing benchmarks and numbers, and they've lost all sense of practicality, in my opinion. Like, for example, you can buy a higher end version of a car with more horsepower. But say take a Corvette. You buy the new Corvette. Say it goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Now there is a newer version of the Corvette that does 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. How much extra do you think it's going to cost you for the new Corvette?
A lot. Mm-hmm.
Well, it takes a lot of power to just get that half a second, right? And that's real. Like the new 2021 Corvette, it's a Z07 package, I think, has, I think that's what it is. Anyway, it's about a half second faster. But to get to that half second, some major differences in the engine and the horsepower. So you start reaching a point of diminishing returns for your investment. And for some people, it's worth it, right?
Okay.
But for most people, it's not practical. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and 0 to 60 in 2.5. With no way to actually measure that on a track, you wouldn't know the difference as a human, which one was faster. You couldn't identify that half second. However, people in their money, in much the same way, in my opinion, overclocking these doesn't really make much difference for most people. But people chasing benchmarks will spend a lot more money to get just a little bit faster. All right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just not practical. Anyway, Gary Boyd contributes 20 Canadian dollars with a link here to a YouTube video. He says, I don't know if Mitch has seen this, but it's an interesting interpretation of Africa, and it needs a bit of volume in the beginning. I think we did see that. That's the one with...
The Tyson chickens? I've always seen that.
No, I'm thinking the one on America's Got Talent.
Oh, right, yeah.
I can't pull that link up, unfortunately.
Fine.
But
So
I'm sure other people can.
I'll copy that link and give it a look-see.
Thank you for the contribution, Gary. I see my friend Ron is joined us. Welcome in, Ron. Did I miss any other contributions? I wasn't paying attention.
How's everybody's Friday going? Hope it's going well. I'm looking forward to not next Friday, but the Friday after that, which I think is the 12th maybe. Getting on the bike and going down to Rocky Point for the 20th anniversary of the motorcycle rally down there. Friend and I are riding the guy that actually sold me my bike. He and I are riding down there. So should be fun. About 15,000 bikes down there, I think.
Want to check email?
Okay. Well, we know my board works. Now we'll have to test yours for the smoke test.
We had a couple of contributions come in yesterday that I missed. I'm trying to find them. Doug Betts from Live Windows Training contributed $20 yesterday. And $25 came in from Rockin' Rob. Thank you, Rockin' Rob, for that. Did I get them all? Was there any more? I think I got them all. I get buried in emails, so I don't want to sit here going too far down. But I just want to shout out a thank you to those folks who are supporting the channel. Doug Betts, Rockin' Rob, thank you. Thank you. And I'm trying to turn the air conditioner on because I'm getting really hot. So hopefully that'll come on here in a minute.
I thought it was just me.
No, I'm burning up over here. It's we're getting back into the 90s.
Yeah. Oh, and Chad, I'm disappointed. I think I told Carey back on August 23rd was where I ordered the motorcycle airbag vest, and I wanted to use it on my trip, down the Pacific Coast Highway. Well, that was August 23rd, September 23rd, October 23rd, no vest. I called the company Monday and said, we're coming on 2 months here. If you don't have it, I kind of would like that money back. And so the kid was very polite. He's like, we should be hearing something this week. Let me either email you or text you. And I said, well, I'll give you this week, but if I don't get an email or a text, I'm calling you here this coming Monday. And he was very polite. I mean, he said, I can refund your money and then email you when they come in. I said, well, that would certainly be helpful.
They shouldn't have collected the money until the product ships.
But I think 2 months, and I understand with the 100 cargo ships off of I understand we are on it, but again, I'm like, your website continues to say shipping 2 to 4 weeks. Now I've doubled that, and I told a kid, look, I'm leaving here in 2 weeks on another motorcycle trip that I really would have liked to have worn that vest for safety, and it's pretty clear, they're just not in. And so
and watch it arrive while you're away, right?
Interesting, the full coats, the full jackets with the airbags in them, they have those, but they don't have the vest. And I don't need a jacket. I have a jacket. I just wanted the vest over the jacket.
Probably what most people wanted, which is probably why they don't have it.
I suppose Monday I'll call the company and say, typically does a refund on a card take about 10 days? Something
Usually
like that?
3 days.
3 days to come back.
Let's go ahead and shut this
Shut that
down.
off?
Yeah,
You press and hold though,
No,
right? To shut it off, or
just
just
press
one
and
click?
release. You would only press and hold if it were locked up.
Okay. And shut off?
Yeah. So that's off now, and you'll see it says no signal on the screen, which is
Okay.
what it's supposed to do. We can go full screen back on camera 1, and I'm just going to move everything over to my motherboard, and we're going to see if mine boots.
Okay.
The excitement is riveting, isn't it?
The tension, yeah. Okay. I didn't pay attention where this doodad, your power thing was on. It's over here someplace.
I'll tell you what. Let's push this over to the edge so it's precariously hanging over the edge. And then that's gonna, this big connector right here is right over here. This is tough to do backwards.
Yes.
All right, and then the power switch, which goes with my glasses. Look at these little pins. Second, pins number 3 and 4 across the top row to the towards the left side. Okay, and we did that with the power supply on. We should have switched that power supply off. You're supposed to be paying attention. You're supposed to catch me on that stuff, Mitch.
My bad.
Dropping the ball here, man.
Okay.
You're supposed to keep me honest.
Well, you didn't get shocked. Okay. Or you want to switch to move us in a corner?
Yeah, I'll put us back in the corner again.
Somebody mentioned riding Route 66. I must tell you, come this coming May, since my sister, I have a younger sister in Chicago. That's Route 66 starts at Santa Monica Pier, and goes and ends in Chicago. I'm mighty tempted. I wouldn't go all the way to the Santa Monica Pier. I just do it from Phoenix on up. But I'm like, God, that's a lot. That's a lot of miles for an old man like me. And anyway, but I'm considering it. Okay, are we
Now,
ready?
I don't know if Windows is on this drive or not, so we'll
Right.
see if it boots into Windows. Yeah, anytime. Here we go. Off to a good start. Fans are spinning. Lights are on.
I'm guessing you've got Windows on that stick.
Maybe.
Storage.
I can't remember.
But we shall see.
Regardless, it'll get wiped out and Windows will be installed fresh if it is on there.
And no.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is loaded.
Huh? Am I a psychic? All right.
Yeah.
I said psychic, not psycho. All right.
Sidekick?
Sidekick, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So because I don't know what board that was installed on, it'll work, but I'd rather do a clean install on a new build.
And it's certainly not Windows 11. Okay. It's
No, I don't think. Well, you know what?
Oh.
No, I don't
No,
think the,
no.
the boot screen's the same. But you see, it's loading drivers. So you see how the screen's staying black like that?
Photo Ray, Mitch, couldn't you just tie a bunch of bubble wrap around it? You're a funny guy.
It's like a free guide.
Yeah.
You notice how the screen is going black like that?
Yeah.
And so what's probably happening is it's trying to load a driver for the video.
And because it's not connected to the internet.
Yeah, maybe. It might be figuring
interwebs.
it out. However, I would, because we're not using this Windows 10, what I would do is I would just turn this off. So in this case, we'd have to probably hold it down until it shuts off. There it goes. It just powered off. And again, we'll go full screen here. And what I'm going to do is grab my Windows 10 flash drive, and I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to reset this M.2 drive to be just like it was out of the box.
And then you're going to need the keyboard and mouse moved over. The dongle.
Oh, did I not?
over.
No, I moved it over.
Oh, did you?
already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to turn this on one more time. And once again, put us in the corner here. And we want to do F12 if I hit that in time. I didn't hit it in time.
Missed it by that.
Yeah, so I'm just going to force it off with the power supply.
All right.
Wait for the fan to stop. Power supply back on, this back on. Make sure that you hit F12 on the keyboard as soon as the BIOS screen comes up. Press it repeatedly. Still, I'm not getting it. Something's missing here. So I'm going to turn this back off. Let me make sure my keyboard is plugged in correctly back here. Wasn't all the way in. That'll do it.
Yeah.
All right. one more time.
Take 3. All right, here we go.
Turn it back on. As it powers up, start pressing F12 to get to that boot menu. There, it's better. And we want the UEFI SanDisk Extreme. Apparently, I let that slip. 4th time.
Okay.
F12. UEFI SanDisk. That'll start our Windows setup. And what you do to completely erase everything on the drive is go through the normal setup routine. And what we'll do is, the same thing we always do. We don't have a product key. Really doesn't matter, but for the sake of consistency, I'll pick Windows 10 Pro. There's an end user license agreement. We have to accept that. Then we have to pick custom.
Always.
And then I'm going to delete all these partitions. These are all on the installed M.2 drive. Select each one, select delete. When it finally just says drive 0 unallocated space, and that's all it says, then you have completely erased that drive.
Okay.
So what we can do at this point is turn the system off, right? And I'm going to remove the flash drive over here because now it should boot right into the BIOS now, and we'll check and make sure we've got
F15.
F15E, and we'll turn PTT on. Oh, I have to hit the switch on the power supply again for me. Now this should boot up the way yours did with no operating system. And it should go right into the BIOS. And it does. And then once again, while we're in the BIOS, we'll just check F15E.
Okay.
And then over to
TPP.
peripherals.
The PTT. Yeah.
Change that to enabled. And then save and exit. There's a little bit of a delay there as it saves.
Okay.
And then it'll reboot with the new BIOS settings. And now we can install a fresh, clean Windows 10 or Windows 11 on these two machines. Once Windows 11 or Windows 10 is installed, we do the updates. Run the Uncle Carey's Windows 10 optimizer on them. And they can go into a case with the EVGA 500 watt power supplies. And they'll be ready to be delivered to the customer.
Very nice. Two of 3 done.
2 of 3 are already done. They're prepped. So that's the bulk of the work right there. And that's just how easy that is. And we can go ahead and turn this back off. Back to full screen on camera 1. I don't know, you want to do one more? We got one more to do.
And power supply off to the off position.
Yeah, go ahead and flip that off. Well, don't flip it off, but
Yeah, okay.
turn it off. And then we'll disconnect the power supply from the board.
And this too?
Yeah, that can go back in the drawer. And then I'm going to set these aside.
You got one more to do?
Yeah, should we do one more? We're making good time.
Why not?
Okay. That's what I say. That's the spirit. Why not?
Is it time for corny joke of the day?
Oh, no. I don't know that there's ever time for a corny joke of the day.
Okay. Chat, the little segment as we call corny joke of the day. Let me think of it. Okay. What is a penguin's least favorite vacation destination? Wales.
Oh. Ouch.
Ouch. One more for you. What time is it when a little horse loses a bet? It's time to pony up. And that's all I have today. Thank you for watching.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I thought I had 3 of those motherboards. I might be in trouble.
Ah,
I'd swear I had 3 of them. Jeez,
where is the squirrel? Okay, well, while Carey's looking in inventory, Nutty, come out of your cage.
Yay! He let me out. He's so mean to me. But it's Friday, and I'm looking forward to the weekend. Yay!
All right, Nutty, be good. Okay. You asked for it. There he is. You know, the weather's getting cold now. So now your coat, you won't be as hot because it was 90. So be glad that I kept you inside today. It should not be 90 degrees at the end of October, Nutty. It should be more like 75, but with any luck, by next week, it'll get down to reasonable. So I left yesterday on the motorcycle ride at about 11 out to Bartlett Lake, and I walked around for a bit, but on my way back it was warming up to where I'm like, I don't remember it being this warm last year, so I was kind of surprised that it was as warm as it was, because I wasn't wearing a short sleeve shirt, I was wearing a long sleeve shirt, and so yeah.
Keep the troops entertained. I'm going to keep looking.
You're going to keep looking for one? Okay. So what else? I read on the internet a fall motorcycle trip, maybe here in November, probably not December, but I would ride Phoenix to Tucson, and then they say go up a certain freeway or up Mount Lemmon and look around up there, because the view from the top is supposed to be gorgeous, and it is kind of switchbacks and very nice. So I was like, ooh, that'll be. And the guy that came from Tucson to Phoenix to see Dune with me said, you know, just let him know. And he's like, don't do that in one complete day trip. Just do it and then come to his place, and I can spend the night and then ride the bike back. So I'm getting quite a lot of experience, which I need as a new rider. Somebody last night at the bar's like, so how long have you been riding? And I'm like, I don't know, 7 months, something like that. 7 months? You must be a little green. I said, well, I went, Phoenix to Vegas, Vegas to Fresno, Fresno to Frisco, Frisco down the Pacific Coast Highway to Monterey, Monterey to LA, and LA into Phoenix, and I didn't get killed. So I'm like, took my time, always stayed in the right lane. It's pretty boring freeway driving, but the bike's got cruise control, that helped, and I had music in my helmet, that made a big difference too. So yeah, but highway driving is just so boring. So I've got to find 2-lane roads, that are nice and the scenery's nice, and I wouldn't do them on the weekends, but during a weekday I gotta ride, more rides like that than freeway driving with 18-wheelers buzzing past me, and pretty boring there, where you're just setting the cruise on 68 or something, and just going along, not too exciting freeway driving. So yep. So where is everybody watching from while Uncle Carey continues in the giant inventory he has as he continues to look? Where are you watching from? And it's got to be cooler than our balmy 90 or 91 degrees. I haven't checked my phone yet. I'll have Carey check his, but I'm guessing it's 90 out, which is pretty bad. From we got Michigan, Amsterdam, Sun City West, that's right up the road a piece, Denmark, Black Watch, Morrison Manor. No, you are not in Morrison Manor, or the cameras and the lasers would have blasted you. So you're not in my Morrison Manor. I would have released the hounds. Okay. Maryland all over. Greece, Michigan. There you go. Panama, Scotland. Kansas City, Missouri, 52 degrees. Oh, half of what it is here. But soon, very soon, I'm hoping next week I can open the window for a full 24 hours without using the AC, because it's a little pricey here in Arizona, the air conditioning that you simply have got to have June, July, August, and September, most of October too. So for 5 months, being cooped up with no fresh air is not fun. But when I got up this morning, I think it was, 53, something like that. So threw the window open and got some fresh air in. So, yeah. So who in the chat? I'm not a giant football fan, but some friends were going to the bar that told me to come and see the Cardinals and the Packers. And so, I watched the game yesterday, very close, and you found one.
Well, no.
No.
I don't have any more H370 HD3s, and I really want this customer to have everything the same.
Okay, so you said you can no longer order those, or?
Yeah, those are good as gone at this
Gone?
point. I don't think I'll be seeing any more. But I have 2 of these still.
Okay.
Not that the customer would know any different, but I would prefer they're all the same. And what I'm thinking, I might need to take a system I upgraded to an HD3. I still have one here.
Okay.
And upgrade that customer so this customer can have all 3 of the same thing. I really hate undoing work I've done. I don't know what choice I'm going to have, but
Well, but again, I can see your point that you wanting all 3 to match. So.
but we can check this one, make sure everything works
Okay.
good on it. So let's just fire it up. Get started on this.
New-
one. This
new-
is brand new. It's never been out of the box
box.
before. It's a brand new product, not returned.
Okay.
And this would be more in line with a K processor, right? Because it's the Z series for somebody who wants to overclock. Over there.
Sorry if you're wearing headphones. Crinkle, crinkle.
This has the standoff and screw for the M.2 in these little baggies. So Gigabyte has been inconsistent even with that. Usually their boards come with that stuff. You see the built-in I/O shield. A little higher end of a board. It's the Gaming X. You don't have to be a gamer, to get the Gaming X board. It's just a little. It's just a way to gouge a little more money out of you for perceived value, in my opinion. And we'll pull some plastic off of here. The edges. I think I got it all. Okay,
So you said you have a third cube, a 9, third i9.
I do, but I don't think I want to put it in here. I think
Okay.
we'll use one of the
Okay.
air processors
So
we've
we
got just to update the BIOS and
Okay.
tune everything up. So all I have to do is swap the processor out, swap the boards around. But in fact, we'll probably just use a little air cooler with no thermal compound just to get things fired up and running.
Cool.
And then that way, at least I know the board works and it'll be ready for the swap. I just hate, like I said, I put a system together with an HD3. I shouldn't have used it. So, and the customer I'm doing that for, they don't care one way or the other. They won't mind. In fact, whoever gets this board technically, this is a more expensive higher end board, but it won't make either difference. Either one won't notice any difference in the boards. And I think we have a piece of plastic on here that has to come off if I'm not mistaken. It feels like it's on there, but I can't see. Maybe not.
I think it's just shiny metal.
Boy, it really feels like there's something on there. Well, if I got to struggle that much to get it off, then it's, I'll just leave it. There's definitely one that was on there. Nothing else here or there. So we have this M.2 screw and standoff here. And I'm going to guess it goes underneath. Let's see, where's my scissors?
While you were looking in inventory, Nutty jumped up on the table, so yeah, I wanted to say hello. He's like, it's very hot. Bye, Nutty. All right.
All right, I think I want to start by just looking underneath this heatsink here. Yeah, so there's no standoff installed here. Obviously, we want to be in the 2280 position here. And I want to use my Japanese engineer branded pliers so I can tighten that without scoring it.
Don't cinch it down, but just enough.
Yeah, I want it to be,
Snug.
tight enough that when we screw down the M.2 or take the screw out, that it's not going to back off the standoff with it. Now for this, I'm just going to use one of those, just an opened 512 gig M.2.
Okay.
I'm not going to open anything new. All right, we're going to go back with the mobile camera. Let's switch over to the mobile camera. You got to open the lens cover. All right, we good? We ready over there?
It's all right. It's all right.
Here we go. There we go. Ooh, the color. Look at the difference in it. It's very yellow. I'm going to have to retune that camera again.
Yeah.
All right, well, come on in. Come on in.
This is what we're using. Focus. There we go. 512. You want me to do the honors?
Yeah, yeah.
Nachi, nachi.
We're going right up here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, whenever you have a heatsink installed, avoid trying to put that in the top. There's another slot below.
Correct.
Yeah. There you go. You can secure that here.
It's tiny.
Hold on, that still has the screw for the heatsink on it. Super tiny.
Boom. Just like that.
Okay. Step in, check your work here. Very good. We've got some tape that's covering the bottom of this thermal contact area. So we're removing this tape.
Okay.
This little tab is going to slide in above. Be careful, you don't want to shove it down under there.
Yeah.
So right above like that, and then gently set it down. And then with the screw that we removed, put that right back in.
Easy peasy. Mm.
Can't see if it's lined up or not. Weird position to work in. Just snug that down like that. So our M.2 drive is installed. With regards to our CPU, we'll pull that open. And I got a couple of spare CPUs laying around here. Let's see. Any 8th or 9th gen should work in here just fine.
Yeah. Pick one.
What do I have?
Need your glasses. All
I
right.
definitely need my glasses to read these. That's the 8700, which would work.
Okay, what is that?
This is a 9700K.
Ooh, okay. I like it. All right.
Yeah, so I'll put the little suction cup on there. Rotate that towards the camera. Set it in place. Slide that off. Push this down. And pops off. just like that.
And you said you got us just a regular cooler that we'll put on that.
Yeah, we'll just slap just a basic air cooler with no thermal compound for testing purposes. And then I will decide what cooler I'll put on there, depending on what CPU I end up.
Okay.
I mean, I need to put a K processor, otherwise it's a waste of a Z board. The other way around, it's not so true, but this way around, there's no sense having a Z board without a K processor.
I will take our USB.
Oh, port, any port. Any port in a storm. There we go. Come on, you.
Okay, I'm just going to use a stock cooler. Put it on so the cable's coming out that side.
Oh, it just twists, yeah.
I'll give you the screwdriver back. Seat those in there. Good enough. Give it some juice. So we got CPU, cooler, storage. I need some RAM. Once again, we're going to use these. On this board, I think we use the metal reinforced sockets first, is typically what's recommended. So I'm going to grab some opened RAM. And I think this is just 16 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs a piece. It looks exactly the same.
Okay.
You got to read the details on it to really notice the difference between this manufacturer's memory capacity of each module. So these are 8 each, 8 gigs each. Here like this. Sure we orient this one the same way. Sure it fits easily in the track. Then each corner, we'll close these up just so they don't snag on anything. We're going to be using onboard video here. This chip has onboard video. Integrated graphics processor, IGP. On our power connector, we don't need both of these. We definitely need the 8. The additional 4 is if you're overclocking, you need to draw more power from the power supply. This is optional. So just to get this to turn on, we need power here, and we need power here. Did we just build that quickly? It's done.
Yeah.
So it's time for our power on self-tests. Back to the power supply. Same power supply we used just a moment ago. The power connector is always over by the RAM. Clip faces the edge. Rock it and push it. Lock in.
Okay.
That 8-pin CPU power. Some motherboards, the clip can face in, and some it faces out. This one, and on most, it faces out. And that locks in. Look at Mitch is ahead of the game here. Power switch is going to go on the second 2 pins.
We're
Row,
swinging
like
today.
every
We're
board.
moving. Yeah.
And if we turn this around, we can plug in
The HDMI.
HDMI, and this is in the off position, or is it? It is in the off position. Yeah, I think we're ready to test fire. What do you think?
Yeah, you're gonna want to put the HDMI so they can see it.
Yeah, let's move the camera just a little bit. No, not that way. I want you to go. I don't want to see the other room. It's messy. There you go. We're good. All right. I wonder if I can put camera 1 on as well. Let's see if I can do this. If I go to camera 1, and then I can put this up like this, maybe. Regular wireless camera there at the same time. Oh, that's not going to work. I have to drop this down. Oh, then that chops off your head. Okay, well then I can move this over to this side.
Okay.
There we go. Now you can get 2 angles at the same time. Now I'm going to go plug everything in here. So what do we need?
HDMI. I've already plugged in the keyboard and mouse. Okay.
Okay, HDMI. Boy, I'm really wrecking the heck out of this HDMI cable. Thankfully, they're inexpensive. I think I'm going to be replacing this pretty soon.
Yeah.
You need some power?
Captain, I'm giving it all the power I can. Okay.
Okay. You got the keyboard and mouse you said plugged in?
Yep.
Where? Oh, wow.
I'm ahead of the game.
I almost couldn't even see that. Wow. Holy cow.
Not without your glasses. All right.
It's just black on black
Black.
with nothing around it.
Okay.
Yeah. Power switch. All right. And then let me step back.
Did you turn the power supply on? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
And the power supply's on, but obviously you've got the launch button. And let's turn on, how am I going to do this? If we do the HDMI input, maybe I have to bring it up here like this, and then let's resize that.
Okay.
And let's put it over, where do I put it? Let's put it here. Okay, now you've got two cameras and HDMI, all simultaneous. We're ready to rock and roll this time. This is serious business,
Now?
Mitchell.
Now?
Here he goes. Nothing. It's completely dead. That was a lot of hype.
A lot of drum roll.
What the heck?
You sure this is turned on?
What the heck? That should
Shouldn't
have
it-
powered up.
Should I try it one more time?
Yeah, it's like making an elevator go faster. It's not. If it didn't turn on the first time, it's.
And nada.
Let me just step around and take a look at something obvious we're missing. I never did turn the power supply on. The power supply is still off. I
Okay.
was incorrect. My bad. I gave you bad information.
So now turn it on.
Yeah, turn the power switch on the power supply to the.
Ah.
Is the camera catching that? The switch on the power supply right back here. That's my safety. That's for me to.
And the board's lit up. Very nice.
Yeah. If you come around here and see that the board is lit up.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then the top of the I/O shield's lit up. So even though the board is off, it still has power going through it.
That's a good sign. Now.
Yeah, go ahead and hit it. We should see this fan start to spin. That's good. Sometimes it twitches at first. Hopefully here on the screen, we're going to see something. There it goes.
Okay.
And we probably have a very old BIOS on this.
You think?
This has been sitting in a box for a few months.
Ooh.
First time it's ever been removed from the box. So that power off, what it's doing right now is it's training the RAM and the CPU. You'll see the post screen is coming up now,
Okay.
and it's resetting itself to restart with those training settings that it's identified, and then restarts again with that information. And it should, I think it's going to take us right into the BIOS unless I input an operating system on this M.2 drive, which I might have done. The way it's sitting there a very long time though, isn't it?
Yeah, normally you'd see the spinning circle, wouldn't you? Mm.
Something should have happened, but I'm going to, maybe it is telling us something and I can't see it. Let me go full screen for you and I. No, we're not missing anything. It's just sitting here doing nothing. That's a puzzle.
You broke it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's hit delete on the keyboard. This is new. So we're just getting we're getting the post screen, but we're not getting through the post screen.
Maybe I don't have the dongle pushed in all.
It shouldn't make a difference. Let's go ahead and hit the switch on the power supply, if you would, please. On the power supply. Turn that off. Let me come around here. Let me just double check everything here. This is good, good, good. Back on again. One more time.
Now? Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's a little faster. Okay, that's good. So far, so good. See if we get any further this time. Okay. This is better. So it must have had Windows 10 on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to load into Windows 10. Which of course isn't going to have all the right drivers for this board, which will require a new install. And you know what that means? I need to start my Windows 10 USB here and boot from this so we can erase that drive. And we can check this BIOS version and see how far behind we are. There's got to be numerous updates to this.
Okay.
So it installed some required driver just then and rebooted. It takes us right into Windows 10. And for many home users, that would be good enough. But if I'm doing a new build, it's going to get a fresh, clean install every time, just to make sure all machines go through the same processes. It's a kind of a quality control check for me. So let's go ahead and just tap that power button. That should shut that Windows down. There we go. Cycles Windows down. I'll step around to the front, or to the back rather, depending on your perspective. It's the front for them. And I'll plug my Windows 10 installation media in. And then I come back around. Do me a favor, turn it back on. Look how good he is at that. And then we're going to do the F12 thing one more time here. I missed it. Just tap the power button again for me. Thank you. And then one more time again. Back on. As soon as I see the Gigabyte logo, I'm going to start pressing F12. Make sure I'm on the right keyboard. There we go. And then on this menu that appears, I want to make sure to select the, I got to make it bigger for us, it's way too small. The SanDisk Extreme, right, that ought to be the one right there. And we're going to just do the exact same thing we had done previously, which is go through the same installation routines.
And delete those partitions.
Got quiet. I really should make it a habit to do this anytime I'm pulling a drive out so I don't deal with this when I'm live. But ideally, it would have no OS on it.
Well, you showed.
And then we leave it just like that. And then we can go ahead and flip the switch here. So that takes care of that business. And then I can step back over here and I can take the flash drive out. Go ahead and turn that back on. And now it should boot directly into the BIOS.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can do this a little differently here. Let's see if I can take this camera, put it over here.
We're getting really fancy.
I'm gonna get crazy here.
Okay, we're really getting fancy. Okay.
And then I'll take this other camera here and put it over here.
All righty then. Okay.
All right.
This is my best side, isn't it?
Yeah. What, you leaving? Okay. So now we can check out our BIOS and take a look at.
That's awful tiny.
Let's see. Yeah, we got a big screen, big for us here. What do we have going on for our BIOS? We're version F9 on the Z390 Gaming X. So what I have to do is here on the streaming computer, I need to bring up Google and type in Z390 Gaming X. Again, that's only going to be, it's a product name, only Gigabyte makes it. So the first link Google provides us, I can't speak for other search engines, but Google I use because the first link is always what I want. I click on support, and then I'm going to click on BIOSes. And the current BIOS is F10i, which was released January of this year. So nearly a year ago.
Okay.
So I'm going to download that zip file and extract it. And while you're not seeing this, there's just not enough room to put all the video feeds up. But I'm going to take the BIOS file itself and copy it to my BIOS flash drive. And we'll put it into the streamer.
And you're sure there's nothing on that flash drive? You wiped
I'll
clean?
check it.
Okay.
Well, it looks like it's got a BIOS on it.
Ah,
We'll delete that, whatever that is.
bye-bye.
And then put just this one file on there and then close all these other windows out. Take us back over to our live feed. Cheryl Washorsky with a $10 Canadian contribution says, love your streams. You guys are a great team. Well, thank
Well,
you.
you have very
Cheryl.
nice taste, Cheryl. Yeah.
Sure, we'll make Cheryl blue in the chat room. Okay, so with the BIOS now on this flash drive, I'll step around. I don't even have to turn the machine off. In theory, I should be able to just carefully plug that in to any USB port. And then just give it a minute to initialize.
Okay.
And we can come back over to the see if I can resize this a little bit. And let's do full screen for you and I. And we'll go to Q Flash down here in the corner.
Okay.
Update BIOS. It sees the 10i file. Double click. Are you sure? Yes.
I'll beat.
Verifies it's the right BIOS. We'll also, if you have this option, I recommend checking the update the backup BIOS and then press start. And now
Be patient. No,
we wait.
No touchy.
Why can't? Oh, I'm over here. I see. All these different camera
Yeah,
angles
it's
freaking me out.
Yeah, it's too many. We're triplets now.
Well, it's just a. It's a lot to monitor.
Yeah.
We done with the wireless camera? All right, we'll turn the wireless camera off. You're good. And we could probably resize some of this. Okay, so back into the chat room while we wait. Bide our time. Scroll up to the, as far as I can go back on the chat. Marty contributes $10. He says, nice haircut. Hey, thanks for noticing, Marty. I appreciate that. He's like, no, I was talking to Mitch.
Hair club for me.
Yeah,
kidding, yeah.
hey. You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Rick Lake says there was no plastic to peel. That I thought there was. He says he didn't have plastic on his. So, yeah.
Typically, any idea you remember what that board goes for? I mean,
What I paid for that?
I won't hold you to. I mean, to the exact money, but was it 150 or I mean?
Yeah, it's probably like I'm gonna guess around 160. Would be my guess. And either customer that I'm building would accept either board. They're saying if you're building it and you're saying it's good, they're never going to open it and look at
Right.
it. If they have a problem, they're going to call me. It's really for my own sanity that I keep everything the same for each customer. Not that it makes a huge difference. Scrolling through the chat. They're asking how old that power supply is. Do you see a manufacturing date on there anywhere? Greg Guy says, hey, Carey and Mitch, watching from St. Mary's County in Maryland, United States Navy, retired. Right on. Thanks for hanging out with us.
I don't see a date.
System's booting on its own now after the BIOS update. It's still updating, so still keep hands off the system while it's processing. It'll go take you back into the BIOS, or it'll say no bootable device. And that's how you'll know it's done.
And there you go.
Yeah, so remove disks. That's what I was looking for. I'm still looking through the chat, however, so I'll address that here in a minute. Oh, flattery will get you everywhere. Jackie Judson said, Carey is a genius. Your instruction helped me build my Windows 10 machine. Much thanks. Right on, Jackie. Well, that's moderator status right there. That kind of kindness you just don't run into every day, but that's who we try to identify as blue. So when we see you in the future, even if I don't remember your name, if I know you're blue, I know you did something that was worthy of blue status. If you don't update the backup BIOS, does the backup contain a copy of the older one? Well, it will contain a copy of an older one. Specifically, I don't know which one was on the backup. Since it was fresh out of the box that way, I would assume whatever it came with out of the box would be the same for the backup BIOS as the main BIOS.
Okay.
But if somebody had updated the BIOS and not checked the box, then it'll maintain whatever BIOS was there until somebody checks that box. It won't change. Greg Guy says, Carey, your chipset notifier failed to notify me about AMD new version. Any advice? The chipset notifier needs to be updated.
Okay.
We made a video about that a little while back, so make sure when you load the notifier, you check for updates, for any updates. And it has not been tested with Windows 11. So if you're using it with Windows 11, I don't think it's been tested in that yet. Otherwise, it should work fine. And you can take any issue that you have with it with service at d7xtech.com and explain the problem to them. They're the ones who can fix it. I can't fix that. If, in fact, that is a problem, they can verify it and address it. And if it is a problem, they would appreciate knowing about it. Jackie wants to know if we ever do RAID 1 setups. Not with solid-state drives. It hinders the solid-state drive. Oh, sorry, RAID 1, not RAID 0. RAID 0 actually slows the drives down. RAID 1, which is a mirror, wouldn't really work well on the HD3 because one runs at half speed, one of the NVMe drives. So to run two NVMe drives, you'd want them both to be the same speed. Yeah. But no, I wouldn't run a RAID 1 because people have a false sense of security in my line of work that they're backing things up, and they're not. You know, a ransomware or theft or fire or flood, your data is gone. It seems to invoke a false sense of security. However, on a Synology NAS device or any NAS device, I do run a RAID 1. And instead of a 4-drive array, I'll use a 2-drive. And then it reduces the number of potential drive failures by half. You only have 2 drives. You only have 2 drives that can fail. So my NAS, I've got two 12 terabyte. I think they're Seagate Iron Wolves, and they've never needed repair or replacement. They've never failed, is what I'm trying to say. And it's in a RAID 1 configuration.
And then is my NAS in a RAID 0, where there are 4 mechanical hard drives and one's mirrored?
That would be a RAID 5.
Okay. So if one goes bad, I can still pull it out, put the fresh one, and it'll...
No, it'll automatically do that.
Okay.
So yeah, if one goes out, the drive still maintains and runs, and then you should get some kind of an alert or a light, and then you can take the bad drive out, slide the new drive in, and it'll rebuild itself. But the same works with RAID 1, right? So if we have 2 drives and one fails, just the same process.
Yeah.
But now you only have 2 drives that can fail
Yep.
instead of having 4 drives that can fail. The reason we went with 4 drives was the largest drive we could get back in the day
was 10.
3 terabytes.
Oh,
So if I wanted to get to 9, I had to get 4 3-terabyte drives, and I lose one in RAID 5. RAID 0 is you combine all 3 times 4, you get 12, but you have no redundancy at all.
No safety. So if
That's
one
usually
crack-
for performance, but on a NAS, your performance is limited to your network speed, so that's pointless. So there's RAID 5, RAID 0, RAID 1. There's a couple other RAIDs, but those are the important ones, and I have some quick tips videos on this. Okay, so getting back to this board, we have the latest BIOS on there, so let's go ahead and reboot it and get into that BIOS. We want to load the setup defaults.
And then you want to enable a TPP or a
Yeah.
TPP?
Now, the downside of enabling TPP is it may download and install Windows 11 on its own instead of Windows. See, here's what happened. This is you can't win for losing. If I don't turn it on and the customers say, how come it's telling me my brand new computer from you says it's not Windows 11 compatible? And I go, well, it is. We just have to change a setting. But if we change that setting and the computer is compatible, it will probably download and install it at night. You come in one day, your whole OS has changed. So it might be best to leave it off.
Yeah.
But I want to go into the BIOS here real quick, and we'll make that screen big for you and I, and we can see what's going on in here. Verify that, in fact, we do have F10i, which we have. And then we want to load setup defaults, which right here, load optimize defaults. And then we'll save and exit and go back into the BIOS again in just a minute. And we'll, again, look for that PTT setting, whether or not we want to turn it on or off. Just understand the consequence that it may.
My vote is to leave it off.
Yeah, I think now that I'm thinking about it, I should be turning it off instead of turning it on.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have to do anything here. It should just take me into the BIOS, I think. No, it's not going to do it. Okay, so I'll just hit delete. And then I'm going to go to advanced mode. And then we look under, looking for PTT. See it anywhere in here. Remember, it's same manufacturer, right? But the BIOS is completely different. There it is. It's under miscellaneous.
Okay.
See that?
Yep.
So how did we find that? We went to settings, miscellaneous, and then Intel platform trust technology.
Leave it disabled.
Yeah. Quit without saving, yes. Okay. And then that'll bring that right back up, back into the BIOS, which is where I want it to be. And I can take the flash drive out. We're done with that. Don't need that anymore. And that can be erased and reused. Well, erased, and this is just a flash drive I keep for.
So
for
we've got a working board.
Yeah, board works great. That's good enough for me. I don't want to put Windows 10 on there because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that M.2 drive in there. But I just want to make sure that everything was functional. It's a brand new board. I've been sitting on it for months. And yeah, so we've prepped 3 boards today. We're getting pretty fast at this, huh?
Yeah.
And let's see if we can change some things around here. Go ahead and turn this off. We're done with this for now. And then we'll turn off the HDMI input. Let's go full screen on camera 1. Let's go full screen on camera 2. Perfect. Just to make sure that's working. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So we have a few minutes for questions, requests. I don't know if we can do requests, but humor us, whatever.
I besides seeing the movie Dune Monday, I saw a movie that how it went under my radar. It's a couple of years old. It is not on Netflix, but you've got to find it. It's Burt Reynolds' last film before he passed away. and it's called The Last Movie Star. And I just sat there with a smile on my face the whole movie, and I'm like, how did I not see this? It was just. Then it's available on Netflix on disc, so of course I've got it coming, but it's not available on streaming. But just a fabulous swan song film for him.
So so he was pretty old, right?
Yeah.
Because that's 2017.
Yeah. Yep.
Written and directed by Adam Rifkin.
Yep. Yeah.
He's the one who did.
I just can't recommend that highly enough. It was just fabulous. Yeah.
He's done a lot of stuff, but I'm trying to. He did something I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't Bikini Squad. I'm pretty sure.
No, not Mouse Hunt. Yeah.
Was it The Chase?
Detroit Rock City.
Detroit Rock City. Okay. There's something else he's done.
Us being both from Detroit. So if you get a chance, chat, I wouldn't steer you wrong. I'm a giant movie buff. Big thumbs up for me.
Joni Nymanen has contributed €5. Says it's payday for me. Let's make it payday for you too. Have a good Coke. Have a nice good Coke on me. Right. Thank you. Appreciate that. We'll make sure you are. Oh, you're already blue. Awesome.
So,
Jana Aloy Sr. says hello, Carey, Mitch, and chat from sunny Virginia.
Mitch, have you seen the new Dune movie? I did.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Yep.
You'll have to rewind.
Yeah, in IMAX. Yep.
Mortmont says to check my email.
Check your email.
All right, it's time for an email check. I always bring the wrong feed up for some reason. Email. There it is. Hey, Thomas has sent an Amazon gift card of $50. He says this is for dinner. Hey, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a guy. What a guy. Oh, I was going to ask you to check your phone. What is the temperature currently here?
Right now?
I told Chad I'm guessing 90, but...
91.
91.
Yeah.
At the end of October.
3:15 in the afternoon.
Ugh.
And it gets hotter until about 5. 5 is the peak, and then it'll drop. Generally, although sun is starting to go down earlier.
Because I was watching a football game at a bar on their patio because they had all the TVs last night, and it was comfortable. I'm like,
last night.
God, this was beautiful.
Yeah.
So.
Enforcer P with a $5 contribution. Thank you for that. Appreciate your support as always. I wonder if Amazon has any. I'm pretty sure they don't have any. Just take a look at those H370 HD3.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I got to play musical chairs here with the system.
Yeah. No returns, maybe?
So the Z390 Gaming X appears to be in stock at $150. You nailed it when you guessed $150.
$150. I was right.
It's available for sale now.
It was 1 penny off.
That's very reasonable considering I'm paying $110 for the HD3.
Yeah. So
Z370 HD3 doesn't appear to have anything available, used or otherwise.
So what are you going to do?
Because someone like me bought them all
like
up.
you said, you can pull one from, but you have to take up all your beautiful cable management.
I haven't done the cable management.
Oh, but still, you got to pull it out of the. Well,
yeah, that'll be nothing. That'll be nothing. Just pull that out, drop this one in, and it's
Swappy
something I'll
swap.
do off camera.
Okay.
It's not exactly good camera angles to get in those cases.
Yeah.
You didn't see any build date on this power supply.
I did not here, unless it's underneath. What do you think?
No, I don't see anything underneath. It should be somewhere on the label. Got a 5-year warranty. Tell you what, read that model number to me and let's see if there's any reviews and what date the reviews were published. That's how we can kind of gauge when it was released. It's a little insider trick.
Okay.
What you got?
Thermal Lake,
Thermal take.
Thermal take. You just want the model number?
Yeah.
Oh, God. TR2-600NL2NC.
NC or NH?
NC. It's a TR2 600 watt.
Newegg still listed for sale. $55.42, 3 out of 5 stars out of 263 reviews.
But how old?
Well, so we can sort the reviews by date and see when people started reviewing it.
Okay.
Let's see here. Where did the reviews go, Newegg? Here. Ooh. Wires melted, started fire. Uneven fan noise. These reviews came in 2014.
Okay. You've had that around?
2013. Well, that wasn't the review I meant, though. There should be like a professional review. I'll just type in the word review up here after the model number and see what Google provides. Customer review. There's some videos. Looks like 2013. So that'll be it's a good power supply. It's been working solid, no problems.
Okay.
What's it been? 8 years. So that'll probably be used in a giveaway computer where I don't have to worry about warranty. I wouldn't sell it to somebody, but I would certainly give it away for sure. So yeah, that's about 8 years old and runs great. Despite the negative reviews, that one couldn't be better.
Never caught fire, so.
No, and it was taken out of a working build where it was on probably 24/7 too. Peter Laycock says, Carey, it's 43 degrees Fahrenheit in Edinburgh. 43, it's less than half. Less than half.
Well, I guarantee next week it'll dip. And we'll have, 4 months of the most gorgeous weather.
Bob Connor says, I currently have 8 drives connected through 2 USB hubs. Would you recommend I go to NAS? Absolutely. Absolutely. The Synology, what is it, the 912, something like that?
My 4-discer is a 918 plus Synology.
Is it a 918? I might, no, that's a 4-disc, okay. Synology, I think it's a 9, can't remember the model. It's a DS220. That was way off. They're a little under $300.
But that's only a 2-bay.
Yeah, but that's all you need.
Okay.
Right? Because again, the reason we went with 4 bays was I couldn't get to the storage capacity with one drive.
What are they up to now? 12?
16.
16?
Uh-huh. Let's see if I can do a screen grab of the
Those have to be pretty pricey for mechanical hard
I
drives.
think they're around $500 if I'm not mistaken.
Jeez.
Let's try this and see if this will work. There we go. So this is what I recommend. This is what I use. It's got a little cover on it here. Some NASs you have to take screws out to change the drives. I think that's stupid. Everything should be toolless. The whole point of it is to be easy. So you just pull the face off of it. You see it's got 2 Ethernet jacks. One's a fallback or they can be aggregated.
Okay.
But I found that if you don't have everything set up correctly, aggregating it slows it down. It's not worth the cost. And you won't really go faster if you aggregate it. What it'll do is it'll handle multiple requests simultaneously at higher speeds, but single requests won't change. This is the idea for it to multitask at a higher speed. But I love this little thing. It's under $300, and you put whatever discs you want in it. So if we wanted, let's say
And you've got 2 Iron Wolf
10
terabytes or 12?
12s.
12s.
But that was about the biggest I could buy back then.
Right.
You can see the 8s are going for $199.
Okay.
Here's a 16 at $456, a little cheaper than I recall. Here's a 16. And the Iron Wolves are a little bit more money than desktop drives.
Right.
Because they're designed for NAS use. They're designed for 24/7 and they're fast.
Always on.
So $429 is not bad. So you can get 2 of these, $429 a piece, right? So you're at, let's say, $960.
Okay.
$860.
Plus the NAS.
So you're at $860 plus, let's just round it to $300. So you're at $1160 and you've got 16 terabytes in a RAID 1. So that'll be 16 terabytes of total storage. Plug it in every computer on your network. can share it, as well as you can share it over the internet if you want to. So you can, if you have music and movies and stuff you want to watch when you're away, you can certainly do that.
All from your phone or your laptop or your tablet. Yep.
Now look at here, 6 terabytes, 199. That's ridiculous. And their Western Digital has their red line. So Western Digital Reds would be
That's what I've got in mind. So
would be the equivalent. Then it would work just as well. Western Digital Red. See what the price difference is. Ooh, it's a bit more money. So that is at the $500 price point.
and I've got 3 terabytes, which would have been 12, but I got the one RAID, so I lose one. So I've got 9 terabytes of storage, and I'm only about 52% full, and I've got, 300 Blu-ray rips, 1,000 DVDs, my entire music collection, TV shows, full seasons of Big Bang and Sanford and Son. So, and I'm only.
Oh, look at here. They go to 18 now. Oh, I didn't realize they're at 18. So for $50 more, you get 2 more terabytes.
Right.
It's a 5-year warranty. So now does that mean there's an 18? Must mean there's an 18 for Seagate. There's an 8. Yeah, they're at 18 now. Oh, wow. And it's a little cheaper on the Seagate. Is it still a 5-year warranty like Western Digital? I imagine it is.
Boy, that's a lot of storage, yeah.
2 million hours mean time before failure. 2 million hours.
Yeah.
How many days is that?
100.
There's a free data recovery service from Seagate on a 3-year
Okay.
recovery service is included. I've been hearing Seagate talk about that. I've never used it. I don't know if anybody's got any experience with how that works. It's a CMR drive. What's the regular warranty? Just 3 years total, and Western Digital's 5, or is it just 3 years on the data recovery? Scroll down and see if it says anything about the warranty. Oh, date first available was last year. I've really been behind. I don't use mechanical drives anymore. Not 7,200 RPM. I don't know. Put it on a Drobo, which isn't exactly a performance box to begin with. Lies and false promises with warranty. Now this is on a different drive though. This is a 4 terabyte drive. You got to watch these reviews. Sometimes Amazon combines reviews for different products from the same manufacturer. See, these are all 4 terabyte reviews, but it looks like they're not reviewing this 18 terabyte. That's frustrating. That's why there's 13,000 ratings. Clearly 13,000 people didn't buy an 18 terabyte drive.
And the drives do make noise. I mean,
And then look, there are only 3 left in stock at that price, and they're probably limiting how many one person. Yeah, they're limiting you to just 2. See that?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to get 4. I mean, getting 4 would be a challenge.
Right.
Yeah, warranty, 5-year warranty. So they're going to match Western Digital. It's a Ford Chevy argument here. They're going to operate pretty much identically, and your mileage may vary with your personal experience on that.
Yeah. And again, my DS, was it 918 plus? The 18 is 2018. So it's, 3 years old, still working great. A little noisy. I mean, I've got the NAS in my screening room, but with the 7.1 surround sound going, I would never hear the NAS as I'm streaming.
Mike T says, Carey. Hello, Carey. Hello, Mitch from the Bronx. Great content. Keep up the great work. Carey, are you doing Amazon Live? Yes, I have not been touched. I haven't touched it in a couple of weeks because I'm ramping up for the holiday. This is going to be a very interesting holiday. with regards to product availability
Really?
and
Yeah.
the delays in shipping. I mean, it's already delays in shipping,
Right.
so it's only going to get worse. Product availability is only going to get worse. Shop early. Do know that my Amazon videos are going to be very different.
Then these.
So basically, probably find sponsors for my content. And these sponsors, overall, obviously, it's got to be a reputable sponsor, but I'm not necessarily going to have too much experience with the individual product. But I'll say, hey, here's XYZ product from such a manufacturer, and they're sponsoring today's Amazon Live video. And then typically the way that works is I can make any video I want as long as I designate a couple of minutes to identifying the sponsor, keeping their logo on the screen. And then sometimes I might behoove me to make a video to tell all you guys, hey, come and join me over at Amazon when I'm going to do that to try and draw more traffic there. But you're going to find me, first of all, still making the content I want to make, but I will allow for sponsors from reputable manufacturers, even if the product is something I'm not familiar with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the reason for that is about time. I don't have enough time to, if a PC manufacturer wants me to promote their PC and they're reputable, there's something that businesses use and I've worked on. It's probably more of the same of what we can expect from that company. And I can read the specs and things that their marketing wants me to read. And I have no doubt the specs are true, but I don't think I have the time to get to a granular level of the review. It might be something I do here at a later date. I don't know how all that's going to work out yet, but you will see a very different tone in the Amazon videos. They will be a little bit more sales related, but still stuff I recommend regardless. I'm not going to take on any sponsors that I think aren't products I would use myself or recommend, or at least for manufacturers. Like I said, trusted manufacturers. And then whether or not I dedicate a video to a trusted manufacturer product, then that would be a review. Still be honest. But ideally, what they're going to do is allow me to pay for the video content through the sponsor instead of asking for contributions. Because Amazon doesn't do that, right? There's no way for super chats or things like that. The only way you make money on Amazon is through sales, or you get a sponsor to pony up some money to help offset the cost of production. And in doing so, the tone of the video will be a little bit more me pushing products that I like, and not so much philosophy and stuff I share here. So for each venue, there's a different format, right? So that way I'm not selling myself short by limiting opportunities, because that opportunity may make me a lot of money, whereas this opportunity is very rewarding and educational, and it's what I like doing, but it's not growing at a fast enough pace. So Amazon is a potential way to speed up. I would like to buy a house in Michigan, that's all I'm saying. But it takes money. And at this pace, at YouTube's pace, I'm still going to be in Phoenix a while. So I'm hoping Amazon's a solution for that. And that's where buyers are. They're looking to buy anyway. That's why they're on Amazon.
So you'll Amazon Live the 2 routers that we've got.
Yeah, so there's actually 3 routers.
Oh, okay.
There's 3 routers that'll be coming up with some reviews. Those are purchased using your contributions, and I'm going to review those routers over on Amazon. And I might just simulcast it, both YouTube and Amazon at the same time. There's no rule violation there.
Okay.
I haven't really made up my mind yet. But certainly during the holiday season, the more Amazon Live videos I make, that's going to be the pinnacle of the year as far as sales go, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So I really want to focus on that throughout November and December. Certainly from about Thanksgiving until Christmas, I should be cranking out video after video on Amazon Live.
Yep.
And then you might see much fewer videos here, since I can't do 2 things at once, except when I simulcast.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. Cheryl says it's 49 degrees Fahrenheit here in Saskatoon. Patrick Grissaw saying they have 20 terabyte drives now. Okay, well, that's how far behind I am. John Williams says 54 degrees in Madison, Wisconsin. Hello, Mitch. He says, I just used the same board on a build. Thanks for teaching me to do this.
Yeah, good board for 150.
David Epic with a $5 contribution says, hello, Carey and Mitch from New Hampshire. Mitch always has the coolest shirts.
One of 44 Toto shirts, David.
44 different
Toto shirts, yeah.
Solo says, I used your Amazon link to buy engineer pliers. Hey, they're great, great pliers. Thank you for using the link.
$88 degrees in Tucson, so you're a smidge, just a smidge cooler than we are here in Phoenix.
David says, are you going to have Acronis on to talk about the name change from Acronis 21 to Acronis Cyber Protect? I don't think so. The fact that Acronis is shifting their business model into security and away from strictly being a backup software moves it into a different category for me and my business. I cannot recommend the Acronis security product, and I have uninstalled it from my systems because I just wanted it for backup, and I don't like that they have sort of made that change of their business model. And what that means is when I'm comparing backup solutions now, is Acronis a backup solution, or is that something you compare against Malwarebytes, or is that something you compare against Macrium Reflect, right? So I don't like that this line has been blurred because one side may be good and the other side may be bad, or both sides could be bad. It just really conflates the entire genre of software that they're known for. And I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not on board with that. I can't get behind it. So I don't know if we'll be seeing much from Acronis anymore because they're a reputable manufacturer, but they're going down this sort of shoving something, to justify a subscription that's, better than an evergreen clause. Okay. But it's getting close. I'm just having a really hard time getting behind these business tactics. And this change happened right after they got about $149 million from Goldman Sachs in investment. Once that happened, the whole paradigm of the company shifted into profit instead of product. And the perpetual licenses, they don't want to offer that anymore. And they're justifying that by saying it's antivirus and you have to keep getting definition updates to protect yourself. So that's how you justify it.
Yep.
I'm not okay with that. So I'll be looking at some competing products in the future. I still use Acronis on a bootable flash drive because the bootable rescue disks do not have the antivirus component. If and when that ever changes, I might have to find something else. But in the meantime, my recommendation on that is changing. Acronis is just simply moving into a different direction that I choose not to join them on. I wish them the best of luck. But all the reasons that I recommended them, they have now removed several of those reasons. There's still reasons to use it, but it's not the slam dunk it used to be, from my view. And I'm kind of sad about it. But change is inevitable. Yep. They want to grow, just like me going to Amazon Live. Some people may not agree with that, but I want to grow too. But I want to do it in a way where people still have choices, right? So anyway, I appreciate that question. And I will tell you right now that it's been a long time since we've done a deal with RoboForm. And I'm going to talk to them and see if we can get them on, talk about what's new. Get that 50% discount back if I can.
For the holidays.
and try and keep it through the holiday season. So we started talking. Nothing is set in stone yet, but I got good vibes on this one. So if you want a good deal on RoboForm, stay tuned. That will hopefully be coming up here in a few weeks.
I'm kicking myself why I waited so long for a password manager. And Carey's like, I know you, Mitch, and you only have probably 2 passwords that you use on, all 300 sites. And I'm like, leave me alone. And he's like, you're going to get hacked and you've got to get RoboForm. And I fought him. And finally, it was, just so easy to use. I'm like, why did I wait? And I've told all my family members, and like, this is what you got to get.
Kevin Smith wants to know if you're a fan of the Rolling Stones.
I like them. I mean, again, really talented, 50-year career. I listen to their music. I've seen them 3 times in concert. But still, my go-to is Toto, obviously, and Alan Parsons. And I'm just big on 70s music. So in the car, there's on Sirius XM, there's Yacht Rock radio, which is 70s and 80s. And I find myself always going back to that, because that's, for me, not Carey, but again, I graduated high school in 76. And so for me, the 73, 4, 5, and 6 are my high school years where, everything Gary Wright, Electric Light Orchestra, and of course Kiss. So that is, to me, the music that I grew up on and what I find myself turning to. And Carey's big on the 80s, and I like, again, Johnny Hates Jazz, Kaja Gugu. Yeah, so there's some 80s music that I really like as well. But
Toto's in there.
But when it jumped to the 90s, that whole Pearl Jam and
Grunge and rap.
Yeah, I tuned. I'm sorry, and I know that I'm sounding just like my dad. Turn that off.
I didn't care for it.
But I'm like, I tuned out.
That's when I discovered the Beatles, because I thought the Beatles was like the Doors. I thought it was like this all sounded the same. Mm-hmm. The Beatles doesn't sound the same. I was like, that's the Beatles?
Yeah.
And, I thought it was all hippie music. But then the song called Two Princes by the Spin Doctors came out, and radio got good again.
Okay.
For me. Yeah. But there was a couple of years there that was just it was rap, and it was grunge, and I didn't like either one of them.
Yeah. Creed.
One was self-deprecating, and the other was hateful. But I don't want to hear hateful music. Unless it's got a little humor in it.
Yeah.
There's a song called She Effin' Hates Me by, is it Puddle of
Mud?
Is it Puddle of Mud? I can't remember. But that's funny. It's a funny song.
Yeah.
Anyway, Carey, what do you think of Facebook changing their name to Meta? Well, Facebook, first of all, isn't changing their name to Meta. No. So there's 2 Facebooks. Just like there was 2 Googles. There's Google Corporation in the Google service. And the Google Corporation said, we're covering so much more than search. We're doing the Waymo vehicles, right? So the parent company that owns all of these little subsidies, Google being one of them, changed to Alphabet. So Alphabet owns Google. But before it was called Alphabet, it was just all Google. And it was conflating all the different areas in which they are investing. And so Facebook is investing in, WhatsApp and what is it, Instagram or I don't know, something. And so now they're saying, well, we don't want that to be Facebook Corporation. We want Facebook to stay Facebook, but we want the corporation that owns Facebook to be called Meta. Same corporation owns WhatsApp. We want to separate and redefine the service from the name of the company, and that Facebook is just another subsidy of Meta. So you're not going to go to meta.com or anything like that. Yeah. It's still Facebook. Yeah. It's just the parent company's name. Yeah. It needs to differentiate for clarity reasons in mission statements and what our goal is here, that it's more than just Facebook. It started as just Facebook, but as it's grown and it's expanded into so many different areas, and they want to continue to expand, they want to draw a line just to not confuse people from one to the other.
Yeah, look me up on Meta. No, that doesn't roll off the tongue. Check me out on Facebook. That's a brand.
And he says, Carey, did the Coca-Cola clock I got for your birthday, does it work? It works, but it's really hard to see at a distance. So I I took it down. I can't remember. I set it somewhere. I had it on the wall here in Studio B for a while, but I couldn't read it. And I'd have to get up close to see it. So I had to replace it with something that had a bigger difference between the hands and the face. But I love the clock. I appreciate that you sent it. Any final questions here? We're going to wrap it up in just a few minutes. Beta Rivera says, I had to uninstall Acronis recently. It was messing with HTTP requests and it was driving me insane. I had an issue on my computer that I thought Acronis was causing, where I would click on a folder and it's a folder that was just made, and the system would just sit there, and then it would open the folder. And then once it created the thumbnails in the folder, it would open super fast after. It was only the first time that it would do that. And I lived with that for about a year because it was just a slight delay. And I'm like, this is a fast computer. I got that Sabre at 4 terabyte drive in there, which is over a year now I've been using this thing, and I use it pretty heavily, and it's been rock solid, just like all the other solid state drives I use. But I should do an update review on that as well.
Yeah.
But I decided to Google that problem because I just got fed up with it one day. I'm like, why is it just this one folder?
Yeah,
There's
is
this
it- yeah.
weird delay
Is
for
it
the
me,
first
or- yeah.
time. It's just the first time. Once you open it and the thumbnails are made, things go faster. And it was a view setting, you know, up at the top of the window in File Explorers, File and View. And then I'm trying to remember what the fix was, but it was just one click to change the folder type,
And that was that.
and then everything works fast again. So I don't know how it fell to that setting or what happened there, but just an FYI in case anybody else experiences a slow folder opening. And that's why I took Acronis off. I thought Acronis's antivirus was causing it. It wasn't. But I also don't run Acronis automatically. I run it manually. So I didn't need it to start with my computer and consume resources. It turns out, you know, it's fine. It wasn't causing any problem.
And because I have 4 desktops, I'm still using those kind of standalone, like Acronis 2017, those ones that you could buy, you know, at stores in the box, you know, with no updates. But I'm like, it's still doing what I want. It's backing up my my main C drive. So I'm like,
Mortmon's asking about the World Series Astros or Braves. I don't follow baseball. I have no idea.
yeah.
Wasn't the World Series just
Yeah,
done?
well, they were game 3, so I don't know whether here over the weekend it's going to be game 4 or whether they're up to 5. Yeah, I'm not a big. I like going to a ball game once a season.
Too boring.
You know,
Too boring.
oh, have a hot dog and, you know.
You know, you can have a hot dog and not have to suffer through 9 innings.
Yeah, that's.
Just saying.
They got free Wi-Fi in the stadium.
Ken wants to know what I think about the Asus Z690 Maximus Formula. Nobody has seen that board except maybe early reviewers. The 600 series is what's going to be used on 12th gen. And as I started in this video, I will repeat back, for assuming you weren't here in the beginning, that I don't have any opinions on product that isn't released. And I won't be purchasing that product out of the gate since Intel is holding all reviewers to wait till release day. And by the time you read the review or see the review on YouTube and you decide you want to buy it, it will already be sold out.
Yeah.
So you have to buy it now and pre-order it, and the prices are the highest. You need DDR5, I believe, with that board, and it's probably a $400 plus board. So that's just not practical. I will let other people make those investments and figure out whatever's going on, and then I will decide what I want to buy, and when I buy it, we'll put it here on the counter, and Mitch and I will evaluate it. But you probably won't see that until the end of November or early December at the earliest. That's not what we do here. There's a lot of other wannabe first YouTube channels, and those YouTube channels have a bigger budget. Maybe they have better sponsors, or maybe they get the parts for free. We don't play that here, and And I don't see any reason to get something brand new and pay top dollar for it and wait in a line to get it just to be first. Maybe if I was 13 years old, but I've outgrown and matured, and my money is far too precious for me to gamble away like that just to keep up with the Joneses and impress people. I have no interest in that. I need tried and true products that I can rely on at a fair price, that are practical, reliable, secure, and available, quite frankly. And anything that's brand new just isn't going to be available, and it isn't going to be at a good price. There's a general consensus of a lot of people who want to be first, and I'm glad that they have the time and the money for that, so that we can get to the product that much sooner. Once those people get out of the way, then they can start manufacturing more of the product with less of a demand, so there's more supply. Also gives competitors an opportunity to introduce product in the meantime. That forces prices down, opens up choice of part selection, which, like right now, if you wanted to buy a 600 series board, there's not many to choose from. But in January of 2022, there'll probably be 10 times as many boards to choose from. This creates competition, this lowers prices, it opens up options for the buyer, and it's just a matter of a little bit of patience. But if you want to be first, expect to pay more and sort of have to fight to get those parts where you're battling with other people that want to be first. But you're looking at a $400 board and a $600 chip and probably $200-300 in memory. So just to get it going, you're over $1,000 before you've even bought a case or a power supply. So I'm just not interested in that at this time, and probably never will be. I'll leave it to the folks like Gamers Nexus. They're really good at that stuff. Let them be first. Let them do that work. Let them, get their product kits from manufacturers that are designed with the best of everything for the best possible review. And then I'll buy the parts I want to buy at a more budgeted price point and see how everything works together when it's not contrived by the manufacturer for the purpose of the best review possible. I'm going to give it a more honest, what would regular people do? What RAM would they buy? What motherboard would they buy if they were buying this new chip? And, depending on what budget and what the purpose of the computer was. At this point, it just seems to be people want to be first because we don't really have any information on it. So to plunk down $1,000 on promises, too many commercial enterprises just exaggerate or condition their marketing tactics as borderline. They're right on the edge of legality in a lot of this, in my opinion. And then when, like Optane, Intel talked about Optane, how wonderful it was going to be and how it was going to change the industry. And some people adopted that right away, paid a lot of money for it and said, this ain't working. It's making things worse. And it never really caught on. And then Intel made all these promises. It can go, blah, 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 100 times faster. And they said, this isn't anywhere near even twice as fast. Why would you say it was 100 times faster? They said, well, we said it up to 100 times faster. Once we keep evolving the technology, a couple of generations from now, in theory, do the math, based on these numbers, if it keeps bumping generationally, we should see that with this technology, and we won't see that with any other technology. Well, that's a hell of a condition, isn't it? I mean, we're making a lot of assumptions here because we don't know what other technology is going to be introduced, which is exactly what happened that rendered Optane more or less useless. So the same happened with RAM bus memory, and the same happened, over and over and over and over. SATA 1 and SATA 2, then SATA 3. And then you think, well, that peaks it out. SATA 3 is it. That's as good as it's going to get. Nope, here's NVMe. Well, that's as good as it's going to get. Well, that was generation 3. Now we're in generation 4. And guess what's coming out? Generation 5. So it continues to grow and expand. And all these things that seem so amazing right now, especially when it's brand new, may not be so amazing in 3 months because we don't know what AMD is going to do to respond. And you might just regret buying that Intel chip if AMD's got something hidden nobody knows about.
Up
and
their
they're
sleeve,
just waiting. They're just waiting to snap back, or not. Don't know yet. It's certainly going to cause some, if the new 12th gen high-end Intel chip is going to be faster than AMD's high-end chip and sell for $100 to $200 less, what's AMD going to do about that?
Right.
AMD may have nothing other than reducing the price by another $100 under Intel, and then suddenly they're the value proposition, even if they're not the fastest. We just don't know yet. And so These are the risks, the gambles you take when you want to throw your money out there and be first. You're going to discover this at your expense and your time for us, and we appreciate you doing it. So that's why we don't. That's too expensive. It's too risky to sustain a business model that way. Unless, again, manufacturers are giving you the parts, and they're going to be very selective at giving you their best parts. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than watching some of these AMD early reviews where they use like an MSI godlike board. They're talking about how cheap the AMD chip is, but then they're putting a $500 or $600 motherboard there. And you're like, I've never paid that much for an Intel-based board. Until recently on the Big Beast build, that's the first time. $750 for that motherboard. Ooh. Coggers contributes £2. He says, fighting for the little man. Thank you. I'm an advocate for the average Joe. That's what we do here. We're not out trying to align ourselves with the elite. Carey, what do you think of Windows 11, and have you installed it yet? Yeah, there's videos here of me installing it, and my thoughts are already done. It's an early product. It only came out a few weeks ago. I do not advise anybody, any of you, to jump into any brand new products. I would give any operating system a minimum of 6 months and preferably a year to mature. And since Windows 11 isn't doing anything Windows 10 doesn't already do for most people, I don't understand why anybody's talking about it or installing it. It doesn't make any sense. It's new.
So
That's the only reason they have to install it.
So here's my opinion. How's that?
What's that? Oh, a thumbs down. Look, it just looks like Windows 10 with a different GUI.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
So what?
I'm Windows.
And then when you install it because it's free, and then it crashes your computer and you email me for help, which
so sorry.
several people have done, I'll tell you the same thing I told them. I recommended not to install it. If you go against my recommendation, then you're accepting responsibility for correcting it on your own. I'm not here to help you dig yourself out of something I warned you about before you went into it. So I'm not going to tell you not to. Do whatever you want. Just don't ask me for help when you go against my advice. Unless you're paying me.
So we have Windows 10 through 2022, 23, 24, and almost all of 2025, 4 years.
Yeah. So why?
Yeah. What's the rush? Yeah.
What are you getting?
Yeah,
what are you going to be doing with
Right,
Windows 11
right.
that you're not already doing with Windows 10?
And you're familiar with Windows 10.
Yeah, you know where everything is.
And how everything works.
But this is, again, there's this huge difference between consumers and people in business. And I just don't understand. If none of these people ever worked in an office, I don't, people asking, aren't laptops outselling desktops? Do you see rush hour traffic in the morning or in the evening? Where are those people going? I'm going to guess they're going to work.
An office, yeah.
Do you go to work? Do you work in an office? Does that office provide you with a laptop or a desktop? I think universally, 99 times out of 100, it's a desktop. And the only people who aren't using computers would be maybe manual laborers. So there's a weird disconnect. How people can be so unaware of how the world works and how all these things these enthusiasts are buying are made possible through the money people make from having jobs and the needs of businesses. And while some of the technical innovation comes from gaming, at the end of the day, a lot of technical innovation also comes from businesses. And if you read business trade magazines instead of consumer magazines, it'll open your eyes up to a whole world you didn't even know existed. And I'm trying to fill that gap here on YouTube. And I feel like I'm kind of alone in that. It's all just
swimming against the tide. All right.
Oh yeah, it's just no representation from business. I mean, it's so minimal here on YouTube that you would think it doesn't exist, when in fact it's much, much bigger. The numbers don't even align anywhere close with enthusiasts. You got to think about 300 million computers being sold every year from companies like Dell and HP. 300 million in 1 year. And of those 300 million, enthusiasts don't make up 6% of that, I think, 7%. The rest is business. It's that big of a difference and gap of the money being spent and the amount of support and the innovation and the technology and what we're driving towards. Now, of course, there are manufacturers specifically into gaming. They might make gaming cases. Certain video cards are designed for gaming, where that usually trails off of some business end card, something used for some high-end advanced rendering required in business, and they sort of baby that down for the consumer. So anyway, I'm kind of surprised that so many people are so blind to what makes the world turn, which is business. It's not the consumer. And that's what's driving the business, and that's what drives the revenue. And if you want to do this for a living instead of for a hobby, it's going to become real clear to you. And if you have a job, just look around you. Look at all the computers your job has in that one place. All those people sitting in those cars during rush hour traffic going to and from work, they're probably going to a computer.
Desktop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, desktop computer. More than likely, they'll be sitting at a desktop computer. That's a lot of computers. How many of those people are going home to game?
Speaking of gaming, you think this Christmas I'll be able to find a PlayStation or
Good luck.
or an Xbox? No,
Maybe.
No hope. Yeah.
Maybe.
I just wanted one for the screening room. I don't know why. I've never even played, a Call of Duty, or I've seen clips of them, but I'm like, I should have one of these for the screening room, and just can't get them. So.
Just going to look back through the chat here,
Okay.
and we're going to wrap things up unless we have other technical questions I can answer. Lou Greeny says, fixing things that aren't broke, I will never understand this mentality. It's clearly an enthusiast mentality. It does not exist in corporate America. Not in successful corporations, because they wouldn't be successful if they did that. Do I have any interest in Noctua's fanless CPU cooler? No, it's nothing new. We've had fanless CPU coolers for 30 years.
Mighty big.
Yeah, so you got a bigger heatsink. It's the same old, same old. It's all the same. It's no different than previous fanless coolers we were using in the 90s. It's going to overheat your chip.
Yep.
If you push it. If I run Prime 95 on it, it's going to overheat it. But if you're willing to sacrifice some performance, or you don't use your computer that,
Okay.
push it that hard, it's a great solution if that's important to you. It's designed for a specific purpose. It doesn't have the universal appeal of a standard cooler, which can be used both in quiet environments and in high performance environments. David wants to know what my opinion is of running a NAS hard drive in a daily driver PC. There's nothing wrong with that. You just don't want to do it the other way around, and preferably leave the PC on 24/7. Don't turn it off. Ron's telling you, play those games on a PC.
Oh,
Mitch.
that's an idea. So, Carey was at Morrison Manor, and he was looking at my desktop with my just 24-inch monitor, and the first thing out of his mouth, oh, you got to get a bigger monitor. You need a bigger monitor, Mitch. I'm like, I can only sit so far. You have to be a certain amount. I'm mounted on the wall there. I'm like, okay, all right. Go for a 32 or a 35-inch screen. I'm like, how far back am I going to have to sit back?
Bob Connors wants to know how I convert long URLs into the short ones like what I use. Amazon does that for me for Amazon product links. That's all built into Amazon. YouTube will do that for you. If you hit the share button below a video, you'll get a shorter YouTube link. If you just are in general looking for a URL shortener, just type that into Google and several options will appear. Ken wants to know if I suggest Arctic Silver over Noctua's brand paste. I don't think thermal paste really matters. Whether you use something expensive or something cheap really doesn't make much difference at all in the cooling performance. It matters more how you apply it, but the compound itself, the variables and the difference in cooling are pretty much the same variables in the ambient room temperature, resulting in a zero net effect difference.
Look at Patrick Russo. Mitch, my friend, owns a pawn shop, and he's got 2 new Xboxes. Let me know.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Yeah, thermal compound doesn't matter what you use. Just be sure to use something. And don't mix 2 different ones together. And don't put on too little and don't put on too much. You'd be better off putting on too much than too little as far as cooling goes, but not as far as making a mess. So the way I show it and the way I do it, I would recommend you use what I use if you want to see the same results I see. The notchable paste I use is on Amazon for about $8 a tube. And you want to buy some other, $30 a tube. They're just gouging you, man. They're just, in my opinion, it's like buying a name brand piece of fashion.
And that tube that we use today did 2 builds and probably would have done
Yeah,
a
no,
third.
there's enough
So
in there for a third.
yeah, so 3 builds.
And that came with the cooler,
yeah.
right? But you can also buy that same tube on Amazon.
So
And,
you figure 3 bills on a tube, and yeah.
People are sort of looking at technical minutia, which once again, Dell doesn't look at that. HP doesn't look at that. Corporate America doesn't look at that. It's just, it would cost them $100 to save, if it saved anything, it would cost them a lot of money in labor to apply that and pay all their labor. It's just an enthusiast activity that at the end of the day doesn't make really any difference except to people who care about technical minutia. And as far as being practical, it's just not practical. There's no real benefit to it. Unless you're one of these people that's trying to hit a world record overclock and you're going to kill your CPU in the process of doing it, and you have that kind of money to burn, have at it. But for the rest of us, know the difference when you watch those videos. Those are watching extremists. And if you have the money and the time to be an extremist, this is not the channel for you. I try to do my best to avoid anything other than practical advice, but for fun, like the Big Beast build, that's extremist.
Yeah.
Threadripper was extremist. I do a little bit of it to show how ridiculous and stupid it is, right? And you see the amount of money Big Beast build is going to cost $10,000 when it's all said and done. And what am I going to do with it when it's built? I have no idea. It's not going to stream any better than this rig here, and that's a $4,300 rig. And all the RGB that's on it, it's stupid. But because I have a video, you can see it. You can go, ooh, pretty lights.
But I don't want to spend that kind of scratch.
But if I wasn't putting this computer on video, I wouldn't put that on there for me. It's a complete waste of money. I wouldn't sell that to a business, and then they want 10 more just like it.
Yeah.
They could pretty much buy 5 computers for what 2 of these computers cost without all that nonsense. And it affects nothing with reliability, security, or productivity. He wants $700 for the Xbox.
I'd rather lean towards PlayStation. I don't know why, but it's just between the two, I just...
What are they supposed to be, 500?
My guts, that's kind of what I thought, 5 or 550. So it's not too much more, but I'm like, my gut says PlayStation. I don't know why, but I'm like, I'd rather look around for one of those. PlayStation 5 is the latest that came out this year or something like that, and everyone got snapped up.
Alex wants to know if you need to install G-Skill Triton Z Royal in a certain way, because I have all 4 slots filled and the Starry Night setting doesn't stay in sync. Why? That'll be between you and the motherboard manufacturer. I've got some Gigabyte boards where the G-Skill software won't work. I got lucky it worked on this one. I didn't think it was going to. And then I just have to give up Starry Night and use the options in Gigabyte's RGB utility, which is fine, but I really wanted that flickering effect.
Right.
And it wouldn't have been worth it to change the motherboard for that. There's just some boards that are just not compatible. And then there's some Reddit forums where people are talking about it. You might look there if there's something specific about your board you can change for that to work. But it varies from board to board to board, even from the same manufacturer. Different model boards play better, and I don't know what else to say about that. But I would go to Reddit for that. Have you considered migrating all of your videos to Amazon since they pay better? It's not that easy, Bob. Amazon has rules, and most of my videos won't follow those rules. So no, I won't be migrating. Maybe 1 or 2 here and there, but there mostly needs new content to abide by Amazon's conditions. Like Amazon doesn't want you to mention prices. Prices change all the time, but the video could be up 15 years. Right? How do you get that RAM for that price? Or why would you pay so much for that RAM? Well, you're watching a video that's years and years old. So it's best to not mention prices. So it just causes confusion. when somebody's watching an old video, unless Amazon wants to delete all the old videos, in which case you want to see a review on a product that's 2 years old and still for sale, but the video's been removed because some of the content has changed, like price, and it creates confusion. So instead, now you get no information. So what do? So Amazon's decided to just say, look, just don't mention prices. We won't have that problem. Carey, do you use Gigabyte Fusion 2? No, I don't use any RGB software other than what the G-Skill software was on the build. I tried it, didn't like it, so I just stuck with the G-Skill software here. Patrick says, Mitch, I'm sticking with my Atari 2600. You know they have a really tiny Atari 2600, the world's tiniest Atari 2600.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find it. Maybe Amazon's got it. I don't know. Let's see. Atari 2600 tiny, maybe? I know it's already released in Europe. Just saw Gen X Grown Up over on YouTube recently did a review on this. There it is, world's smallest Atari 2600 review. I'll copy that link and put it in the chat for you guys.
Okay.
Let's check this out, Mitch. I can't show it to them because it'll be a copyright violation, but I can show it to you without audio on. But you'll see it's in the package here.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's tiny. Yeah.
There's a, it comes with a little TV, a little controller, and a little tiny joystick, and it's functional. That works. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's cute.
And that's made by a company called
Super Impulse?
Super Impulse Tiny Arcade. Let me go to Amazon and search for that. I don't know where it's sold. I don't even see it available for sale. Tiny Arcade, superimpulse.com.
Okay.
And they make a bunch of little tiny arcades. Oh my gosh. Look at these. Wow, I don't even know if those are playable. They're so tiny. Let's see if I can grab a screen capture for the folks here. Let's go. Where's my screen capture? Right. No, it's not what I want. Darn it. That should do it. There it is. I don't see the Atari 2600 in there. Then my friends over at New Wave Toys are taking pre-orders on Missile Command, which is going to be the mid-size, the playable size. It's shop now. There it is. So they've got this one on the right was a test, when it first came out and they were putting it in arcades. Yeah. This is what it used to look like for the few test markets that they used it. Okay. And then when it was like, okay, we're going to make this, then they made it to this one on the left. So notice it's got a 3 coin slot on it too. It's pretty unique. And they're doing every detail between the, what do you want to call this? Sort of the beta model versus the finished product that was in the arcades all over the place. And so they're offering a pre-order for $139.99. And the field test edition is $159.99, or you can order
one of each
for $280 combined, and you can pre-order that now. They're limited edition, and it's probably going to be a couple of months before you see anything, given the distribution issues and manufacturing issues, but they're good for it. You know what I mean? You will get it. You're just going to have to wait your turn. And they'll probably sell out, and they'll probably be selling for $500 on eBay eventually.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I'm not a huge Missile Command fan. What about you?
No.
Yeah, it just really wasn't my jam. The question is, when you start collecting them, do you just collect them all in order to have a complete set, even if it's stuff you don't like? Or do you say, yeah, it's too much money.
Right.
What's the point?
Yeah, just take the ones that I enjoy, yeah.
Yeah. When are we going to get back to the big beast build? I'm waiting on a 3090 graphics card because we have to get the fans and the RGB hooked up. We've got to replace the cooler on the Mini ITX, and I have that, which I hope is going to fit. And then we install the graphics card, and that should finish the build, and then I can get it over to PhotoRay for cable management and get the bottom piece removed, send that off to Larry in California so he can put casters on it.
Yeah.
And then the next video after that should be the full complete cable managed system on wheels, all lit up and working.
All here, yeah. No lazy Susan, but at least with the wheels, he can spin it for him.
Maybe if we didn't fall off the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely require two people to lift this.
to-
But it will, once it's on the floor, it'll stay on the floor and I'll wheel it around, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I mean, I'm seriously concerned about this $10,000 computer just sitting there.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I might do is, once the video's all done, gut it completely and use it for parts.
Yeah.
But even that motherboard and chip are so unique. What am I going to do with a $550 case?
Right.
So I have no idea yet, but I'm hoping that'll figure itself out in time. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Blackwatch wants to know how the Xenos build is coming. I haven't had time to get back to it with all the customer work, and I don't think I'm going to have to get any time to get back to it the rest of this year. But it's functional and it works exactly the last way I showed it. Hasn't been touched since. And eventually, I'm going to have to just start declining customer work in order to get these projects done. I have to pick one or the other, and the customer work is paying the majority of the bills, so it's getting priority for that reason.
Patrick Russo, Mitch, did you get a laptop for your overseas trip? I did, much to Carey's disdain. I allowed my little brother's fiance to steer me into purchasing a MacBook Air, and I'm not knocked out, mostly because I don't really use the laptop much except when I'm on a trip or when I go up to my brother's for Thanksgiving. So it's not a daily driver to me, but she said, you know, it would be easy to learn and yada yada. And I just, because it's something that I'm not familiar with, that operating system, I don't like it. And so believe me, I'm leaning towards either taking a Chromebook with me, but I will not travel if I have to walk around countries wearing a mask. That's out of the question. I don't mind on the plane, but I'm waiting, and of course I'm not going to quarantine. Yeah, when was it? Tuesday I had my booster.
Did you get that?
And I woke up Wednesday and I went, oh, this feels just like when I got my second shot, where I'm like just kind of achy and tired. So I'm like, well, I'll just putter around the house. I won't go out. I mean, I think I went out to Wendy's for supper because by then I was getting cabin fever. But I'm like, I didn't have a fever, but I'm just like, you feel off. I'm like, I'm just, my system's either fighting this or doing whatever. And then, of course, that was Wednesday, and then you go to bed. I went to bed early, and by Thursday, I'm like, well, that was that. So, but I had my card laminated. I went to Staples after getting the 2 shots, and I had it laminated. So then, like we talked about, I had to gently cut that. I didn't want to.
That was very optimistic of you.
Yeah, I had to gently cut that off and hope that wasn't glued on. And luckily, it came out.
It was just sealed on the edges.
Fine. So I'm like, yeah, that was kind of dumb, but I'm like, eh. And the lady's like, did you have this laminated? I'm like, oh, she's like, I can kind of, I feel of the card, whether you just had it in something or whether it was I said, yeah, it was laminated. She said, don't do that. I'm like, well, I should never have to get another shot with it. Knock on wood. Okay.
Michael Whalen says, what is a workstation for? It's for work.
Yeah. That 4-letter word
It's not
that
for
everybody
gaming.
hates.
It's not for playing. It's
That I
something
don't-
you get paid to use.
That I don't do anymore. All right. So,
In most corporate environments, in my experience, they don't call it a PC. It's not a personal computer. It's not yours. It belongs to the company. And they don't want to send a subliminal message by calling it a personal computer because it's not personal.
right.
It's business, and therefore it is a workstation. It is. They want to imply through the phrasing to the employees, this does not belong to you, and this is not a toy. So they are generally referred to by policy in most corporations that I worked for. They were very, very strict. If you said PC, you would be corrected. Stop calling it a PC. It is not a personal computer. This is a workstation. There are other workstations that people refer to for other types of work as well. So a workstation may not even be a computer. It may be a bench where you work. This is your workstation.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a term that's generally used in corporate America regarding the place or the tools that you use for work. So whenever I get the 3090, we'll continue the big beast build. It just hasn't happened yet, but soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And again, Carey and I aren't looking forward to
lifting that thing.
hoisting that
Yeah.
thing. You know, it's
I just wish I had something to look forward to using it for.
yeah.
But it's not going to do this any better than the machine I've got now. So I don't know what the purpose is. But
It was fun to build. I will
Yeah,
give you that.
that's what
Yeah,
we did.
yeah. So, Mitch Zeppelin or the Who? Of course, that's you gotta the Zepp. I mean, yeah, I adore the Who, but between those two, yeah, there's no. It's Led Zeppelin. Those guys are amazing. I was lucky enough to see them twice in my life with the 4 original members. So.
yeah, I'm still debating on that missile command. I'm still waiting on Qbert, by the way, too. They've
Oh
got
yeah,
Qbert.
yeah. But again, I like the fact that you collect the ones that you liked. You know,
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't. So the thing is, when I went to the arcade, Missile Command was there. It's not like I never saw it.
Yeah.
I played it a few times. I just really didn't get into it.
Yeah. And you were talking yesterday, so sometime either in November or December, maybe that'll be because we're too busy. So maybe in January, we got to go to that arcade down there in Mesa. I mean, you had
I've been
me
telling my friends
You've been
about it.
having me salivating. I'm like
Starfighters
I just I just want to get back to the feel of the flippers, and the steel.
You wanna feel the flippers.
and the steel ball. It just I'm like, and you were talking about it yesterday. I'm like, God, I got to get Carey. We got to go. Maybe we can film, or maybe they won't let us film a little bit in there.
Oh, they don't mind.
Of us playing. I'm like,
Let me
it's
show
just-
this. I'll show this to the folks at home. Let's go here, there, and this button here. I should put it on the screen. Yeah, this is a huge arcade. Huge. This is like they have a pinball festival. You can book a private event. We could do a whole meet and greet. I pay for the place for a private event and invite everybody.
all
who wants to come out.
all three people to show.
Yeah. Hey, come on. There's at least 5 of us.
Yes, at least 5. Yeah. And it's just
They don't
all-
really have a good picture of the place, though. It's
It's all pinball.
over 100 rotating classic arcade games.
games.
We're on track to become the largest retro arcade in Arizona. And here's a list of pinball machines.
Look at that.
This is just pinball.
Pinball. Yeah.
And I don't even know that that's complete. And then you have all the arcade
Arcade
games.
Amazing. And you rent by the hour?
They spelled gyrus wrong.
Okay.
They should know better. It's 2 S's.
Yeah. And you rent by the hour?
No,
is what you're
no,
saying, or
you
say
pay like $11. You pay once. They open at 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday and close at 11.
Okay.
And it's all you can play. You walk in the door, pay your $11, everything's on free play. So you might have to wait behind
Yeah,
somebody
somebody.
on a popular game,
Yeah.
but it's all included.
Right.
Yeah, so they have events,
Yeah. If they serve beer, I'd never leave.
an
Okay.
80s themed arcade. So there's so much, there's no beer there, but
No.
the size of this place there's just no pictures that show the scope of it.
Right. We gotta go though. I mean,
It's really far though. It's
Yeah.
it's the opposite end of town.
okay.
Yeah, it's way out there by Falcon Field.
Ah,
Yeah, it's in an industrial park. You wouldn't even think there would be
Yeah.
a retail business space in there.
there.
And they're only open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sundays are pretty limited. What is this? Sheraton Mesa Hotel is doing a pinball festival, and you can get free entry if you bring your pinball machine.
Huh.
SPF will transport the pinball machine to and from. It'll
Jeez.
ensure their white glove process will ensure your games are safe, secure, and clean. Because that's a pretty big deal. You got to take the feet off, you got to
Yeah.
take the top off, and then you got to be careful when you transport them not to damage them. There's a lot of moving parts. Yeah, and that technology in them is 70s tech.
Yeah.
So a lot of manual solenoids and buttons and such. What do they call those connectors? I can't remember anymore.
Yeah, I wish it was open.
All right,
during
let's
the
just-
week. I would go when everybody's working. So
Yeah, no, just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the Sunday hours are pretty limited. I think it's more for bringing the kids, like 4 to 7 or something. But yeah, I think it's 7 to 11. $11, you pay your $11, and you just play as long as you want to play.
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It just reminds me of how arcades used to be. The arcade I went to was humongous, lots and lots of choices. And now when you see arcades, they're just a handful of games, nothing like it was. Trevor wants to know, can you do a video on any PC that you built 8 years ago and show the upgrade process that you did? I already did that just a couple weeks ago. That video was called, see if I can find it. I just made that video. Where is it? Content. Sure, it was live. Yeah, it's a 5-hour video I did on October the 8th. And it's my computer upgraded in August 2018 is back. So that was in 2018. It wasn't an 8-year build. That was a build I did for a friend using some parts I had here. And see if I bring that video up. Can I copyright violation myself? Let's see what
With
happens.
myself, to
Let
myself.
me try it and see what happens. This would be interesting. We get to, here we go. I should be able to, I guess I'm gonna have to fast forward a little bit. Yeah, so that's the video.
Okay.
Eventually I get to taking the sides off of it. You can see, yeah, some pretty old parts in there. And then that was built from a machine before that, the same person.
Okay.
When I took the machine out and, took it out front and blew all the dust and debris out of it. So, yeah, that's a pretty common thing I do here. It's not unusual to find that. Perfect. Okay, I think that's going to wrap it up. I think we're good. We got the boards prepped. Like I said, I got to do a little musical chairs with this one. And
But it was work you had to do, and it was fun to do side by side, and
It's nice to see the comparison.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I say, with the chipsets, the difference in the chipsets, the same CPU that we can use on all the boards we showed today. Just depends on why you're, you know, if you want to overclock it or if there's more USB ports or something on the other chipsets. The more expensive chipsets usually have maybe more SATA connections or more full speed NVMe connections than the cheaper boards. But that, of course, changes as we evolve into 10th gen, 11th gen, 12th gen. What sort of becomes low end is raised up, and the high end is raised up. So the cheap end 460 boards are both high speed NVMe, but the cheap end 300 series boards, only one is high speed. So you'll see that the standards keep raising, and the cheaper boards, going back a generation or two, instead of always wanting the latest and greatest and being that pioneer and spending all that money and waiting in lines, hoping you get one, you go back a generation or two. And the differences between 9th gen, 10th gen, and 11th gen are, that's like less than 10% performance difference in most cases. And most people wouldn't even notice it. You know, if you're working in an office and you're doing Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, you're browsing the web, you're checking your email, you're not going to see any 10% difference. You're just not. Your network speed's the same, your internet speed's the same, and your typing speed is the same, and your comprehension speed is the same. But it depends on the workload. So if you're doing something that's very CPU intensive as part of your job, you already know what you need, and you don't need to hear that from us. So that's why I try to make sure people know. If you don't know, there's a reason why. You don't have to, right? And if you do know, you don't need the information from us. You already know what you need better than we do. So yeah, I'm gonna take that other HD3 out. I'll put the 9900K in it. Whatever CPU that has will go in this one. Okay, I think that's what I'll do, unless it's the same, if it's a 9700K. Because I gotta take that heatsink off. That's got a Mugen on it. So if I move the CPU and the heatsink together, I don't have to reapply any thermal compound. It'll just line right back up.
Okay.
Not that that's a big deal. But at least I know this one's ready to go. I have another one of these new in a box. I had bought two of these at the same time and haven't had any reason to use them yet. But now that 12th gen is coming out, I've got about, I'd say between now and the end of summer, to still sell these as viable machines and not old. After we hit summer of, you know, we get into this time of year of 2022, I hope to be out of all the 9th gen stuff. And then I hope my low end will be 10th or 11th at that point. And then there might be a 13th gen out by then as well.
Okay.
We'll see what Intel does. Got any exciting plans this weekend?
No. Again, if the temp dips, I'm not holding my breath, but I would do another motorcycle ride, maybe Sunday morning or something like that. I just want to keep getting ready here for that trip down to Mexico. So
Should the cam girls say hello?
yeah, I've got all my documents and and everything. So yeah, looking forward to it. So
You want to say hello?
the camera,
We won't tell anybody who it is, though.
yeah, our drone, our
Mystery camera girl.
yeah,
Mystery camera girl.
girl revealed. Our drone
There's mystery camera
camera girl.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, case
Camera time's over.
Hi, bye.
Thanks for watching. We'll see everybody again very soon. I will probably be back on Monday with something.
Thanks so much for tuning in and
Absolutely.
watching us. And
Thanks for all the
have a great
contributions.
weekend.
Peter Laycock and jeez, how can I just remember one name out of all those contributions?
Michael Dane.
Oh, Michael Dane, yeah. Why do I always forget Michael Dane?
Because he's the man. Yeah. And yeah,
All right. And of course, thanks to Mitch Moore.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Did half the work today.
Yeah.
I'll share with you half the nickel.
Half a chickie wing. All right. So,
Ooh, chicken wing.
yeah. So,
Hey guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We will see you again very soon. Have a safe, happy Halloween. I don't think I'll be broadcasting on Halloween. Too many interruptions,
okay.
maybe. But I don't normally broadcast on the weekend. I'm trying to take weekends off. I'm really trying. And usually I end up doing administrative work. You know, I'm emailing for sponsorships or answering customers' support questions and things of that nature. So every once in a while you will see a video from me over the weekend. But my preference, what I'm trying to attain, is a typical Monday through Friday work schedule. And then I need one of the days of the week I just have to have available for running errands.
Right.
Doctor's appointments, getting packages, all the things I've got to run back and forth, play with the dogs a little bit. So I try to reserve one day for the errands, and then I try and get 2 or 3 days in of broadcasting. And now I'm going to stretch this even thinner to also do Amazon Live. So it's going to get a little
crazy.
yeah, a little overwhelming for me, and I'm going to have to learn how to adjust to that. But that's why if I seem like I get upset over something that should have been quick and now it's, extended, I'm like, oh, this is just what I need, right? So it is what it is, and it's part of the job. But there's this idea in my head that it was going to go a certain way, and then you think I'd know by now. Better prepare for it to not go that way for any unknown reason. I've always warned the audience that worried about the government spying on me, Microsoft is spying on me. Trust me, those aren't your threats. The threats are the people that are spying on you, likely in your own neighborhood or where you live, that are watching you and you know nothing about. It's the things you don't know that you need to be prepared for. So how do you do that? All these things that you think you're prepared for are likely never going to happen, and the things that are going to happen, you never foresaw. So when you can figure out how to do that, you let me know. But in the meantime, don't have too much anxiety. Enjoy yourself. Have a safe, happy Halloween. We'll catch you all ideally and hopefully on Monday. I hope you'll join us then. And of course, Mitch and I will be back next Friday, same time, same channel. And
with something else.
Maybe Big Beast build. We still have the HTPC to finish up. I got the extension cables.
Good.
There's not a whole lot to do there. Maybe we can do both.
Yep.
Yeah, we might be able to finish the HTPC and Big Beast. That might be a tall order. Remember when I said it should go pretty quick?
Right.
I got to start planning for this.
Right.
So, all right, that's going to wrap it up. We'll see y'all again very, very soon. Until then,
Bye for now.
what the man said. All right, now I have to find an outro.
Oh, so try to look humble and sincere. All right.
Never.
No.